identity fast. To me, this is one more important issue in today's context. And the last is safety and security of our fellow members who are even now living in Kashmir. They include our PM package employees as well. We must pay respects to them. और इस ड्राइव है वो वहाँ झंडा गाड़ के रखे हैं. कई लोग बोल रहे हैं अरे क्यों जा रहे हैं. अंडर वट एवर सर्कमस्टेंसेस वो एक कश्मीरी पंडित की आइडेंटिटी वहाँ है. नहीं तो 90% विलेजेस में जगह में कौशल बाटक आसन दैट फेज will prevalent all across Kashmir. So we must be stand with those who are still now in Kashmir, and there are some genuine demands of our fellow brethren, sisters under PM package employees. I think these are 5 big things which concerns all of us. I have elaborated on these more because many a times our youngsters don't know what to talk about Kashmir. Connecting back to our roots, as I mentioned, I have a very different view. I have heard people saying and asked whether they will go back if government asks them. We also were discussing just before our guests came over here. Also, is Kashmir still habitable for Pandits? Yesterday we were having discussion with our AIKS colleagues. To me, all this is irrelevant. It's not important whether we stay there or not as per wishes of anyone or even government. We must remember this is our motherland. We should be able to go whenever, wherever we wish and stay there for whatever time we want to stay.
Dr. Sadman, be on the famous.
We had little discussion with Dr. Raina. We should also think of having the term what they have coined is private space for Kashmiri Pandits, whether it should be across Kashmir, whether it should be in district places, or it should be at those places wherein we have strong religious, cultural connect, but so in tough to Kashmir, that is a matter of discussion and all, but we must demand our motherland in whatever form. I think there are opinions could be differing, not differing. This is something I wanted to talk about, connecting back to Kashmir. Reconstruction and renovation of shrines, temples is something which is connecting us immediately to our merged Kashmir. All of us univocally demand this preservation of our shrines, temples, and renovate all of them. हमारे गांव में भी एक छोटा टेम्पल था. That's in shambles today. That happens all across with everybody. And कश्मीरी पंडितों की एक खासियत थी कि हम किसी भी कश्मीर का कोई भी विलेज लो, भले एक घर है, 2 घर है, but we were living in every nook and corner. So I was connecting point number 1, point number 2. It is possible that government could come up with those accommodations. We can convert them into smart townships. So we are spread all across, and there is a connect with my HTDV, with my temple, with my religious place, with my. I think these 2 things could put together would form a very formidable practical solution for our going back, for our connecting back to our roots. Third one, we talked about seeking justice for all those who were brutally murdered, raped and tortured for the last 33 years. Justice to all our martyrs is a basic expectation. And we are all here to support this cause in taking up with government and all other agencies. I am sure a lot of work has been done, a lot of background work has been done, and we must ensure that all the culprits are behind the bars and there's a justice for each and every one of us. कई लोग हमें बोल रहे हैं नहीं मैंने तो नहीं देखा है, बट हमारे मामा ने देखा है, हमारे चाची ने देखा है. It pains us, it must pain us, and we must remember that. The third, which I am coming to, which is very important now, is cultural genocide. Culture is sole identity for any race and community. It is built over thousands of years and becomes a strong binding force. Honestly, मैं कल रात का एक्सपीरियंस बता रहा हूँ. हमारे AIKS के लोग आए. I think within 10 minutes हमें लगा नहीं कि ये लोग दिल्ली से आए, हम उनको जानते नहीं हैं. We have met for the first time. I was telling my wife while going back. ये पहचान जो है एक दूसरे को within seconds we get connected because there are a lot of things to connect. इसको हमें next generations तक लेना है. We must Ilis Koshik attention uchan atlage achupanas lasman toit karos namaskari savintan nashun karan magar hamme wo that should get us and talk to them ki bhai nasaiche koshik deliche moiche chachi jo bhi hai. I think that is one important thing which all of us should imbibe. So I was telling, it is also considered to be culture is supposed to be the culmination of treasure of knowledge gained and retained over past experiences. It connects you to your lineage and heritage. Our culture is also built over past 5,000 years. We have a very strong legacy and are descendants of Kashyap Rishi himself. We are known as Saraswat Brahmins. हम हर बार जितनी बार प्रोग्राम कर रहे हैं अपने बच्चों को बता रहे हैं हम सरस्वत ब्राह्मण्स के डिसेंडेंट्स है, हम भी सरस्वत ब्राह्मण है. We must be proud of our rich culture and ancestry. It is also to be noted that this was the 7th exodus faced by us and our ancestors. Before us have faced this 6 times and have gone through all the trauma, torture, death, destruction for thousands of years. Despite all of this, our ancestors were able to preserve our rich culture and have passed on this refined version of it. We must be proud of same and preserve it by practicing. मेरी उसमें ज़्यादा थोड़ी रुचि है, तो in some of our past programs हम लोगों ने we wanted to debate on culture because आज के जो बच्चे हैं they will ask you very logical questions. तो हमने उसको simplify करने की कोशिश की है. There are 7 aspects, broad 7 aspects of any culture which form the culture of any society, race, community. First and foremost is language. We are losing command on our language very fast. And at this rate, no KP will be able to speak Kashmiri after next 50 years, which is all concerning us. There are issues of not having opportunities when we discuss, debate, किसी से बात करते हैं तो सुनकर कथी करें. There are issues of not having the opportunity to speak Kashmiri outside home in today's environment. We accept this. But even if we speak Kashmiri at home, then it allows to encourage lot of it and allows us to at least not to lose grip on our mother tongue. तो जितने भी हमारे यहाँ पेरेंट्स हैं, उनसे रिक्वेस्ट है, they must talk in Kashmiri with their language. I must mention, मैंने यहाँ लिखा था, जब मैं when I was grown up, एक ऐसी थी कि भाई उस कोशिश पर काट कर सिचुएशन मानना जो है पथ खोल हो. And parents तो generally they were in the rush of making us learn English and Hindi and all that. I think to a great extent we have continued this, but I stayed in Gujarat for 11-12 years. Gujarati हमारे Prime Minister है, all of us know about his English vocabulary. He is leading the government, but he has a good command on his mother tongue, that is Gujarati. Big thing to learn for all of us. We may be wherever we may be, आज दुनिया में हर जगह कश्मीरी है, but paying respect to our language, connecting us to all of us, language is single thread. There have always been people talking about negatively. I think at KHST we have made a resolve that whatever we will do, we'll do it positively. I was going through some of things and we could see there's a lot of good work done by our fellow community members. Rana Saab, he has run Project Zan. Many of you know, many of you don't know. We have our young couple here, they are sitting here. We have run a Mazdar Lokchar program in Hyderabad during COVID times, and it was a super hit. Across globe people, बच्चे उसमें enroll किए. So we have Anju Dar and Bharatji Dar. They ran it for 6 months. तो कहाँ से आए? But I'm saying every one of us are trying to do whatever best we can do. We have many Facebook organized classes for Learn Kashmiri and many more initiatives to keep our mother tongue alive. We have sort of captured some of those snaps in the presentation, so we can have a look at that as well. I am now coming to another important thing, which is traditions and rituals. This is one of the important aspects which we are losing fast and is a big concern for all of us. Yes, we understand that again the environment is not conducive enough, but our serious attempts will surely keep such things alive. Here again, as I told you very positively, lot of initiatives are being undertaken to make all of us aware, सबको सब पता नहीं होता है, about our traditions and rituals. We have many WhatsApp groups clarifying all the logic and need. We have many Facebook campaigns, YouTube channels, various newsletters by community, and I must tell you, I must introduce, we have a gentleman here from KHST, one Mr. Sanjeev Munshi. I would request him to stand up. Sanjeev Munshi's son is here, and he is here with us for last 2 years. He is himself based out of Baroda. He has been carrying out a lot of research work on our traditions, rituals, and we have requested him. I would not like me to speak on his behalf. We have requested him to come and help us understand what sort of work he is doing. हमारे रिचुअल्स होते क्या है, हमारे ट्रेडिशंस के बारे में थोड़ा बात करेंगे. आई थिंक ही विल अपना मार्गदर्शन देंगे. सो आई एम सो हैप्पी. इफ यू सी सो नाइसली, आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट आवर वॉलंटियर्स टू शेयर सम ऑफ द वर्क विद द ऑडियंस. सो वी हैव sort of made a Xerox copy of all that, so you can take it home and read it very easily and leisurely at home. The third important aspect is art, music and literature. Every culture is manifested through art, music and literature. We are an intellectual community and we have done a lot of work in these areas as well. Really that he does phenomenal work. I think all of us, we should clap in this absentia. He's an artist and we must follow and encourage. His paintings captures the essence of our culture, tradition, and his art is awesome. We have captured some of his paintings. The two pictures which you are seeing on the banner on this side as well as that side is his paintings capturing how cruelty was enforced on Kashmiri Pandits from ages. We have one of our important member of Kashmiri Hindu Sabha Telengana, Sanjay Rana ji. He is not here today with us, but let me tell you, he has been the pillar of our society, of our community. उनका एक कला है, he tries to, he is not born singer, but जो पैशन के साथ में कश्मीरी म्यूजिक को आगे ले जाते हैं, hats off to him, and that binds all of us together. So one big round of applause for Sanjay Rana. Also, KHST has been inviting performers like Ravi Ban, Kailash Mehra ji, Rahul Vanchu, young Rahul Vanchu. We had called Vanshika Bhatt, etc., to make sure that we not only enjoy our music but also promote it and make sure that it passes on to our next generations. The fourth, which at least Kashmiri Hindu Sabha Telengana is very clear, and we have put it on all our either on website, on Facebook, and we are committed to this, is general connect and camaraderie. I think ये कश्मीरी पंडितों का एक कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स था. In Kashmir, we used to live in villages, जो शहरों में रहते थे, तुम मालन मजरोजन, बानमाल, हरमाल, बनमाल, and the connect and camaraderie was incredible. Being part of happiness and sorrow, demonstrating the teamwork. आज फेसबुक, गूगल, बच्चू साहब कहाँ बड़े बड़े कंपनीज में बड़े पोजीशंस पर जाते हैं, तब वो सब चीज़ें सीखते हैं. बट वी कैन इमेजिन वहाँ पर भी ये चीज़ें दे वर एग्जिबिटिंग. तो आई एम नेमिंग देम, few of them, being part of happiness and sorrow, demonstrating the teamwork, taking accountability, division of labor, and flawless execution were some of the key things getting demonstrated during marriages, yugnopaveys, कुछ ऐसे unpleasant things, somebody's death वगैरह होता था, all were working shoulder to shoulder. किसी का यज्ञोपवीत होता था by the neighborhood community. It is even now in our blood, at least हमारी जनरेशन तक तो हम उसको क्योंकि मैंने देखा, I have grown up in that environment. It is now in our blood and we must take it forward. Again, I wanted to talk about one small thing, good thing, which KHST has been carrying out for last so many years, is that छोटा ही है, कोई भी हैदराबाद में आए, जैसे ही पता चले, we add him or her to the group, we welcome them. We want to introduce them. Many of them introduce, many of them don't introduce. Then we reach out to them. उनको हाथ चाहिए, नदुर चाहिए, गुरुजी चाहिए, मसाले चाहिए. We pass on all those informations and make them comfortable. Stay in Hyderabad for whatever. This is what, in a small way, we are trying to do. कई बार मैंने छोटे बच्चों को देखा है, they don't call themselves as Kashmiri Pandits, Kashmiri Hindus. Now they are trying to replace Pandits with Hindus because that is a much acceptable word. So I am coming to ancestry and heritage. Our ancestry and heritage is what we are proud of. As I mentioned, we are Saraswat Brahmins, and our Kashmir was once the epicenter of knowledge and excellence. People all across other parts of India used to travel to Kashmir and seek blessings from our ancestors. Swami Shankaracharya ji, Swami Vivekananda ji traveled to Kashmir in pursuit of knowledge in the same context. We have our own saints like Acharya Abhinav Gupta, Laldet, Prabhu Bhavani, Swami Parmanand, Bhagwan Gopinath ji, and Swami Lakshman ji, to name a few. Also, for some of you who are youngsters, Shaivism, which is now practiced in many parts of the globe, had originated from Kashmir. We all must be proud of our past and have curiosity to know, learn, and know more and more. How this knowledge can be percolated to one and all needs to be explored and worked upon. The other two aspects are food, clothing, So I will not talk about it. I want to symbolically there a reference to talk about our clothing. The another is faith and religion. It must be understood and appreciated that history of Kashmir dates back to 5,000 years minimum. Documented, I have learned it from our Saraf Sahab. And we are original inhabitants of Kashmir. The epicenter of Sanatan Dham at one point of time was in Kashmir. We must be proud of this. And this connects us with rest of India, or this connects rest of India with Kashmir. With this, I will conclude, but it is imperative for all of us to be part of these initiatives. One, wherein we are able to work on all those 5 things which I have mentioned and enumerated in the earlier part of my speech, which will help us to avoid cultural genocide, help us to connect back to roots, and protect and preserve our culture, renovate and linkage with all our religious and cultural places. I also request our parent body AIKS to take lead and work with all affiliates and set up a framework to ensure that all this is implemented, is taken forward, and we are always with you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mara Padisab. Padisab bandu to your prospective KHST host moko ke present KHST perspective. Imo one culture, language part of culture. She has not told one ki Hyderabad group learn and teach Kashmir. That was Padisab subai but the side punch but question at least क्या छु मतलब गुरुजीस क्या छु वनान सो बोर ये गस पाया गुरुजीस इज बोर ना ये अल्फा वर्ड which are daily routine as ये ना इच्छा छि हेचु कैसे कल्चर प्रो पकड़ाउन को लैंग्वेज अगर इस कोशिश में काम करो तो हको अपन कल्चर प्रो. So, thank you, Padisab, for presenting the perspective of KHST. Now, to have a perspective of AIKS, I request Dr. Sab to be present on the dais and present the perspective of All India Kashmiri Samaj.
Namaskar, Sarvino. Vikram ji, IK Pandit sir, Moses Hazri. Very like Dhanyavad, thanks. In bronze, Bukar one presentation, Bukar request team AIKS, Professor Sopori, Gautam ji, Alka ji, the Mandaramaji to come here. Ishyasan felicitate Karn, Timan Nafran, emotion comes a come, yet so identity, so son Yakar, so son Akar, Zindatho. Atmas Karbo Gonati request to become Thaplu JS, Gautamji please come to come here on the dais. It's a small token of love. small replica of Samovar. We can request IK Pandit Sabas please come because Ashwarya Pandit Sobhan Bosmo.
Request our executive committee members to come forward and then we'll be there. Rajesh ji,
KHS executive members, I would request them to come on the dais, please.
Sanjay ji, Mukku Saab, and sorry if I miss somebody else being worked on हमारे. Sanjay ji, Ajay. मैंने खतर छु आज बड़ मसरतुक दो तिकाज ये वक्त अस कशीर अस आसान वक्तन फवक्तन कुनि जाय अस समखुनी कुनि वक्त अस समखुनी खानरस पेट का हबकतस पेट मोस्ट ऑफन मगर सो हबकतल ति रोद न तिम जाय ति रोजन वन छि येते अस साने बटो साने बरादरी साने कम्युनिटी homes of adoptions बनाइमच तत तिमो पन्न पहचान बनामस basically what bar positive trait yus kashir batas chu system sense of identity yus ye sense of identity chu ye hamesha karan carry panas sui wajah chu to agar unkenas matrimonial ad ti wuchu tatmas likhu te Kashmiri Pandits of Rajasthan, Kashmiri Pandits of Madhya Pradesh. So should be yasan pan Kashmiri Pandit identity kuni level pe surrender kar. Ichat badbar khasya. The yehai khasya ch aise zinda thagi. As the agar is matrimonial boxes which have yake tata asli ke Kashmiri Pandits of Hyderabad. Whereas Godnathi should be yasan welcome kar KHS Telengana into the extended family of AIKS. Ye AIKS khatir te setha masarat kat ki that
KHS Telengana has offered to become affiliate of AIKS और हमने उनको तहे दिल से एक्सेप्ट कर दिया, सीने से लगा दिया, ताकि ये फैमिली बढ़े, त्यूता रोजन साइन इश्यूज अलाइन सानी खतर छु issue of forced exodus must remain in the race memory of Kashmir. Having said that, genocide of Kashmiri Hindus and impact of prolonged state of exile on the community. ये वक्त इस genocide इच कट करान छ, मुझे याद पेवान जोना राजा. जोना राजा छ 1450 में around word करान use जाति विध्वंस. ये जो आसान अक reference की forced persecution कितकन चुका आसान कर्षण बटन मस. जाति विध्वंसुक छु ये वांट to lift करन by United Nations यात इस अजित नाव छु दिवान genocide. So तो है कि understand करें 1450 में जिस राज तरंगनी जोना राजा लेखान छु तात्मा छु से जाति विध्वंस करान तम वक्त क्या आशय गसान यूजन तेमसिंस imagination मस तेम को युख जाति विध्वंस युद्ध योद्ध पंडित काशीनाथ पंडिता का किताब लेखान a Muslim missionary in Kashmir about Shamsuddin Iraqi तात्मा छु लेखान से methods of persecution इन तिमस कहरान व जबरान कहरान कहर व जबरान. So that which achak uninterrupted continuity. युद्ध योद्ध ये वक्त contemporary exodus युवान करान छेस तस्वुरस मज अनान च 1999 मज कितकन गाव से क्या गाव तम वक्त National Human Rights Commission पन अक judgment दिवान या judgment मज तिम वनान छ कि यह सच akin to genocide. Therefore, कुनी लेवल पर ची recognize the गसान कि ये बटस से गाव यह सगाव genocide. मगर ये कहते चु defeat गसान. ये चु defeat गसान by deception and denial. Deception कितने चुका सान ये वक्त इस प्रसांच ये वक्त इस पन्नन वक्तव्य मंस पन्नन writings मंस वनांच कि ऐसे स्टेप forced exodus करना नसल तो ऐसी गाँव ने कि इच्छुक तो जगमोहन करित. So जगमोहन theory च एक argument बना कि कश्मीर बात हज़ार सुन करित और सर्वे ऐसे जगमोहन जीएस till his death so ऐसे deny करान है मिनाशन खबरी और मतलब क्या हुआ he was forced to come out with a book titled Frozen Turbulence. Yet Frozen Turbulence mansu kashas batas describe karan as caged pigeons. Up chapter to them depute kormod, they are caged pigeons, frightened pigeons. Yichir ak campaign, a psychological campaign. इम्युक मकसद छु एक ideological subversion of Kashmiri Pandits. You see, ideological subversion छु four stages आसान. First stage गई demoralization कि कहते चीज अगर ताकि कैसी या सोचो villain. ये कश्मीर बटा सोच villain. ये छु एमिस तिथपट demoralize करान कि यो ती गसान छु ये छु पन कोशिश करान पन defend करनस. But ये छु आसान part of ideological subversion ये मिसित एमिस पन्ने self confidence काम छु गसान छु बासान कुछ उसके आतां गलत करा. पद छु युवानी destabilize कर. There's a process of destabilization. You induce युवान छु करना through this process of demoralization. ये छु complement करा अद से and ultimately छु stage वातान या जितना छु crisis stage. Crisis stage वही सो ये forced exodus का साथ छु. And cumulative of all these three stages is normalization. You chak bana new normal. You especially must be kena new normal banu much. Because atmas ch, yes, psychological warfare ch. I'm put bar tool choose now ideological subversion. Each of put bar tool. The young this genocide which hanche genocide paribhasha is which hanche genocide paribhasha to varia bird magar young this version button where you kushish karanche evaluate karnas analyze karnas ki emsun is genocide you kit can go tor tarika catch you कैसे go you should not all of a sudden go I suppose contemporary time was थोड़ा सा पाठ गसुन 1928 मंज कशर बटपूर about 14 years of age यमिस दुर्गी देवी नाव तमिस दुर्गी देवी शिवान कत्ल कर बेरहमी सान शिवान सो मारन सो शिवान करम नगर किस ड्रेनस मंज त्रावन ये वक्त सब डेड बॉडी तमिस वुचान छ दुर्गी देवी कशर बट छ फ्राइटन गसान they get frightened तिमन छ पेवान dark days dark Afghan days याद खबर असमा Afghan मा आइस पे अस पठान instability karan insecure karan culture parts pachute pathi 3 July 1978 magar 4 February 1978 cha bot bar hadis sabdan culture parts se tum shona zankak chu Sodri villages mas kai koot villages mas rozan I'm seeing the now family member shivan marn qatl diwan kar ex to death अमिस गुजर मोहनी वाक यह गुजर मोहनी अमिस लक्टिस बचस सादर मज बलान तो नेरान पे अमिस मकानस नार दिवान सोरे नार जालान ये वक्त पटवर रिपोर्ट करान कोर्टस ये वक्त रिपोर्ट करान पटवर सह वनान यस आतिश नागहानी आतिश नागहानी मीन्स एक्सीडेंटल फायर यमुक मतलब ये चीज कि सारी नफर गसन एग्जॉनरेट यम जन 3 एक्यूज्ड तथ मज तिम गसन एग्जॉनरेट मगर दे वर पुट टू गैलोज यन विटनेस अमिस गुजर यूजन मोहनी वस एम दिस विटनेस एम सिंस विटनेस से गई तिम गैलोज यूत योत न सेप्टेम्बर मज ब्याक हादसा गसान माधव कोल यह शुपियन किस अदालतस मज लॉकुट क्लर्क मामूली क्लर्क शुपियन किस जेलस मज बंद तमिस चार्जेस कह खसम सह शायद मस्जिद मज अजान वजान वनान यह अरेस्ट तक गोमुत तक प्रोटेस्ट अगेंस्ट महाराजा तिकाज एंटी महाराजा सेंटिमेंट काफी हाई आफ्टर July 13, 1931 और ही इज कट इनटू पीसेस ब्रिटेन कट इनटू पीसेस और ये हवा तब से लेके चल रही है कैसे 1978 यम वक्त मिजाज वुचान जब उस मूवमेंट की शिद्दत आप देखते हो यह मुस्लिम मोबिलाइजेशन कैंपेन गसान स्टार्ट या मुस्लिम एम्पावरमेंट ऑफ कश्मीर अमुक नतीज गसान मुस्लिम कॉन्फ्रेंस इट कम्स इनटू बीइंग मुस्लिम कॉन्फ्रेंस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन क्या मंशूर क्या टू प्रोटेक्ट द इंटरेस्ट्स ऑफ मुस्लिम्स और मुस्लिम कॉन्फ्रेंस चेहरे यम वक्त नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस बदलान यह सेक्युलर आउटलुक दिवान यह नेशनल करान सारे कम्युनिटीज अनान लेकिन अगर आज भी आप देखेंगे कहीं ना कहीं उसके शेड्स तो आपको मिलते तिकाज यम वक्त 19 January गो the government headed by Dr. Farooq Abdullah resigned few days before. He left. You saw the vacuum got him on earth and doham. It was a field day for all those people. He was on Kershon button said, Mayhem Court. Yam waqt Kershon button tahre. Not chai possible. During the intervening night of 19th and 20th January, come 30 to 40% Kashmiri Pandits will leave. Why? अच्छा कमीशन लोगमुत अच्छा कैसे प्रशिश करमुत कि है ये गांव तो गांव क्या why because religion chiwan wuchna as a growing component of social and political identity of Kashmir आज तक करते वुचो किताब आमुत रिसाल आमुत लेखन कर्शन बटन पर या जन कर्शन बट यू वांट टू डिस्क्राइब करना एज fifth columnist. अगर तो dictionary meaning of fifth columnist वुचो, dictionary meaning of fifth columnist चु वनान agent of an enemy. अगर कशर बट agent की enemy कुछ, who is the enemy? So that means कि ये वक्त इस campaigns गए start, यात मज़न वनान है कि कशर बट यह सच मरकज़ का आदमी है, यह सच fifth columnist. At argumentus लोग कम से कम 30-40 वरी to percolate down the lowest strata of the society. यम से अक aware गाव अक normal इंसान कि ना अगर मैं दुश्मन छुई तात मज़ाव गोड़नथी argument देने ये मिसे खे नौकरी है यह सच ऐसे rule करा यम बने factors यम वक्त पर ultimately genocide का genocide it's an organized campaign. ये चीज की दर की go out of half आंसर कैसे आता तस्वुर समझ एम को नो धीरे 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 फॉर एग्जांपल 1950 में जो लैंड टू टिलर्स एक्ट गसान कश्मीर में यमजन लैंडलॉर्ड्स अस्ति में जो जमीन युवान नियत तो सुच दिवान लैंडलेस लेबरर ठीक है but without any compensation. I mean यमजन major losers is Tim was non-Kashmiri Muslims, Kashmir but was predominant. He was pauperized overnight. He was pauper overnight when you pauper. Kalatan was here, landlord, Pagashunam scheme, Emsham Sotkiki. Go down. Pachute Ushan Wuhi incident, Parmeshwari incident. Parmeshwari incident is about forceful conversion of a Kashmiri Pandit minor girl. Young citizen. वारिया लोग कम से कम कशिर बट वो कशिर बट आसन मूज में तक परमेश्वरी एजुकेशन में सो बने अक बहुत बार आर्ग्यूमेंट यूजन वार ये यूजन गैदर को स्टॉल ये वक्त 1986 या सुन ये लॉकेट कूर या स्यात पट बनान 1986 as much as temple vandalization guys our spiritual centers were vandalized in काफी डैमेज होता है Suchivan vision as a dress rehearsal. Magar, this which has the impact of genocide on Kashmiri Pandits. Zichis, Kashmir but Banyawak, he has developed a persecution personality. And developed Kormutak insecurity syndrome. The persecuted personality years, Kafi Hadastan, Kam Gomut, and impact was Kam Gomut. Because Zichis should be assigned one use for all of us. Signs of persecuted personality is Zitra cheese aside. For example, अगर कश्मीर का बट समखे रिलेशन समखे सब कदलस पट के उसमें का नमस्कार मारा यूसुस और दर जवाब क्या मारा तो छु वारे नो वायर कुनी तो कम्युनिटी में अगर तो करियो राम जी he will not tell you छु को वारे it traces its legacy to Afghan period. Because Afghan period में जब वक्त बट उस का incidentally हब कदस में समका उसका नमस्कार है तो छुआ वारे that means तो मैं मोर होगा यूँ ये वक्त सुबह ऐसे गरी नियरान पता ऐसे वना मम्मी बहुत रास है ऑफिस हो गया नस ऐसा गस कोरमक भगवान सवाल why because she was not sure ये वापस घर किन्ना ये उस भगवान वना भगवान है मिस्टर जी रक्षा करे गस कोरमक भगवान सवाल so you impact was war dilute go मगर ये वक्त 1990 का this persecution personality resurfaced insecurity resurfaced तो ये चीज आज पे पका आज ये वक्त इस मना कैसे इस मना कशीरी तारुन वापस इस तरह इस चक्करां इंतजाम नार लोग मरा कशीरी सुचना बनान out of any क्या चित्तमिस बासानिया के ना सुचना अमिकिन तिकाज that insecurity and threat perception चित्तमिस होनी थी तिकाज आज तिचु hybrid terrorism का सान आज तिचु संजय शर्मा कुछ थ्रेट है कि ऐसे ताकि कश्मीर मोहिनी या whatever it is बिचोर चु गार्ड ताकि काम गार्ड करान काम जना निकल को दवा करे दवा अमी वो तमने ये क्या थ्रेट चु ताकि तमिस ब्याक नफर गो उधमपुर सो सर्कस सो उधमपुर अचमल कत मोरक अनंतनाग मोरक सो सर्कस मज बिचोर तत काम करान यह कुस पेट तमिस बट यह बेसिक डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ genocide, kill one, scare 1,000. एक को मारो, 1,000 को खौफजद करो. Your target killing is only to kill the desire of Kashmiri Pandits to return back to the valley of Kashmir. And we are willy-nilly falling prey to it. We are willy-nilly becoming part of it. So it is this mentality, it is this thing which we have to break. I'm sure. You should lockwood cheese you have one and choose it better. ये वक्त PM package employees इमोजन लगभग 3 हतन दोहन कर strike. The basic arguments क्या है? Basic arguments है अगर मैं तो ऐसे relocate करूँ तो एक दीवार से work from home. Because दहशत और खौफ का माहौल उस तम वक्त तुम ऐसे mentally तो psychologically prepared. Can you imagine you ऐसे lockwood जवान बच्चे रेवेन्यू डिपार्टमेंट काम करा पॉइंट ब्लैंक रेंजर्स पर आओ सुमार मेरे को ये समझ में नहीं आता है. दिस इज व्हाट आई टोल्ड टू द पीपल. मैं मस्त बनते ने एक चीज इच्छा पॉसिबल कि गवर्नमेंट दफ्तरस मज काम करा तच 10 नफर अमिस और योर दचिन कि यमो तुल द पॉइंट ब्लैंक रेंजर्स पर मोर की इच्छा पॉसिबल कि यो टाइम कंसी इनसाइड वन ये मैसेजेस मज इच्छा पॉसिबल गवर्नमेंट बिल्डिंग मज अचि तोय विद अ पिस्टल इन योर पैंट I मारियो तो पता नहीं होता without being noticed. कुछ ना कुछ तो है. वो अंडरकरेंट तो आज भी मौजूद है. एंटी कश्मीरी पंडित सेंटिमेंट जो आज से अलाय. No matter what you do, you say that हमने G20 कर दिया, डेवलपमेंट कर दिया, बहुत अच्छा हुआ. कुछ चीजें बहुत अच्छी हो गई. We are very happy. We appreciated removal of Article 370. We have appreciated the greater integration of Kashmir with India. और हम देख रहे हैं डेवलपमेंट बड़े जोरों से पकड़ रही है. मेमोरेंडम ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग होते जा रहे हैं. कुवैत के साथ हो गए, बाकी दीगर ममालिक के साथ हो रहे हैं और डेवलपमेंट बड़े जोर से. लेकिन the question of minorities still remains. और यहाँ पर मैं एक बात आपसे शेयर करना चाहूँगा. Iskor Ra Nike Uttar Kore Supreme Court must file a writ petition about Article 370. Yeah, the Chief Justice of India on day-to-day basis goes on to. The AIKS has gone to the Supreme Court to where Aaphamari baat be suno. We favor the government on this Article 370 and we are contesting Yimzan Tim Luke Munkinas Manachi Yakarusa Yes, Article 370 and we are contesting that thing. Or one of the top 5 leaders of Supreme Court has kindly accepted to fight this case pro bono. Pro bono means without any remuneration. Kuch bhi nahi. Akui cheez one go, which is asan zyada waqt kyun because wariya Kashmir is our core constituency. We should never leave Leon on Kashmir. Core constituency it can be defined. ये वक्त pre-partition days and months. आक पाकिस्तान पे ठोस आक डोंट दीवान. ये उस फख्र सान मना दिल्ली में जो सुना. असीजी पिंडी दे हिंदू है. असीजी लाहौर दे हिंदू है. असीजी कराची दे हिंदू है. ये वक्त 47 गाँव. He lost this core constituency. He lost Rawalpindi. He lost Karachi. He lost Sialkot. He became Hindu, yet you can assimilate in the broad mainstream, which was obvious, which had to happen because of natural reasons. As na chuka Karachi da Hindu, na chuka Pindi da Hindu, na chuka Sialkot da Hindu. But Kashmir is with us. Asi Kashmir de pan. So Kashmir is our core constituency. A slogan was formed early 90s as much. I want to conclude with it. So slogan was यम वक्त इसका program is करान, demonstration is करान, protest is करान. ऐसे वनान पान नेक्स्ट टाइम सी यू इन कश्मीर, और मैं इसी पॉजिटिव नोट पे कहूंगा नेक्स्ट टाइम सी यू इन कश्मीर।
Thank you, Dr. Sir. ये तुहन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ओस बासन कशीर वुनकस क्या कशीर पे करो तो ये बासन कशीर मंदी वक्ता बास में बिल्कुल कशीर मन के थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर योर इनसाइट एंड द पर्सपेक्टिव AIKS is having तो तुहन ये वन के आज गए तकरीबन 33 वरी ये बोजान कि जगमोहन कड़ी हालांकि तथ मज तम कहीं रोल तो कह गवर्नमेंट आई तो सोन सोल्यूशन द्राव कुछ जगह बट स्टिल वी विल फाइट टिल वी आर अलाइव, वी विल फाइट, वी कैन अश्योर यू at my generation level also, we will fight till we are alive for this cause to keep alive. Thank you very much. To give more insight on AIKS perspective, I humbly request Padma Shri Professor Sopori Sahab to be on dais and present his perspective from AIKS point of view.
नहीं ठीक है, थोड़ा सा वर्टिंग और स्पॉन्डिलाइटिस की प्रॉब्लम कल से है। आप लोगों ने डॉक्टर श्री पंडित जी को सुना, डॉक्टर राणा को सुना। इन दोनों को सुनने के बाद आई डोंट थिंक देयर इज टू मच which I have to add to it from the point of view. पहले धन्यवाद है हमारे KHST को कि उन्होंने they are hosting AIKS in Hyderabad. ये सारा discussion whatever is happening now has actually started from yesterday itself. As soon as we landed in the hotel, and this discussion, I was just listening, was very, very informative, and it continued up to 12 in the night. So I think the whole process of this discussion, I feel it is in a stage of continuation from what we did yesterday. I will have only few points to make. One thing which we have to work out, AIKS and other organizations together, of course there are many issues. We have to look at what are the challenges before the community and what are the solutions which we can offer, both to ourselves and to the powers that be. So I think those challenges needs to be enumerated one by one and see for each challenge what is the solution that we can do. I can list the challenges, but I don't know what are the real solutions, which probably will come from our younger generation. I think the solutions have to come from our younger generations because they have to carry this legacy forward. So the challenges which this community faced at the time of Exodus in 1990 were of one type, that is the survival. Survival of the family and education to the children. I think these were the two major things which the challenge was. Of course, financial challenges have been always there. But the challenges which we are facing now after 33 years probably can be inclusive of that. We have to add some other challenges which are coming before the community. And that is, उस वक्त तो हम कह रहे थे हमारे बच्चे पढ़े कहीं पूना में जाके पढ़े या बॉम्बे में जाके जहाँ भी एडमिशन मिले, अब वही बच्चे बड़े हो गए, they have got jobs and they have moved all across the country and outside the country. So the challenge is now to me major the connection with our younger generation. Connection not at the level of the family, but connecting at the level of the society. यहाँ मुझे अच्छा लग रहा कि कुछ यंगर लोग बैठे हुए हैं. That's so nice to see them. But this is a major task for the society. How to pass on the traditions जो पंडित साहब बता रहे थे, the language and other things to our next generation. और इसमें जब तक वो connectivity नहीं होगी at the society level, हवन कर रहे हैं, वो कर रहे हैं, उसमें participation नहीं होता. In fact, मैंने कश्मीरी सिविक समाज फरीदाबाद में we started a group called KHST Tarun Group. So we identified 25-30 young people. I said, you make a WhatsApp group of your own. I'll be there also. We had some meetings with them. And let's see how the two generations can work together. What I need to learn from you and what we can pass on to you. For some occasions, they did come. Kuch to aa jaate hain. But most of them seems to be so busy with themselves that the participation in some of these programs like this becomes very, very minimal. So one of the things which I personally feel is a greater challenge is communication, connectedness with our younger generation at family level and at the society level. The other point which I think it is in this context, I think AIKS is doing this great job, Dr. Rana, that we are trying to connect with all our affiliates which are located at different places in this country. And this is very, very important for the survival of the community, for the survival of its values in the community. जैसे उन्होंने सवेरे कहा कि हम कल शाम को वहाँ पे मिले तो एक दूसरे से तुम कहाँ रहते थे, तुम कहाँ नहीं रहते थे, you know, that kind of connectivity which comes up, and that gives a different kind of a flavor altogether when you meet in these kinds of Khandan Wadan is some kind, but that is where mostly you are connected with the family relationships. But when you broaden the scope of these community meetings, the kind of impact which comes up is much, much greater in terms of finding resolutions and solutions to our problems. The other thing which an impact which I still feel we have, and Rana was also mentioning that, we need to remain connected with Kashmir. Now, how do we do that? As you were saying, many people say, even small children, वहाँ क्या रखा हुआ है, आप कश्मीर कश्मीर करते रहते हैं. In fact, my own son, after he finished his from IIT BHU, he was going abroad. And I said, you should go and visit Kashmir. He had been once when he was very small. तो मैंने कहा नहीं, आप must go to Kashmir. कहता वहाँ क्या करूँगा मैं कुछ नहीं करूँगा. Luckily my brother was there stationed. He was in State Bank of India. So he made it sure that he goes there and visits different places. And believe me, after he came back, he said, I wish we could settle down in Kashmir. Because that is the kind of connection which comes automatically. I think मुझे लगता है वो जैसे blood relation होता है ना, you can recognize कि ये मेरा अपना आदमी है. और उसी तरीके से when you go to Kashmir, that kind of feelings which you get there is unexplainable. मैं भी last week में कश्मीर गया था. In some meeting which was IIM Research Council की meeting में मैं वहाँ गया था. So they said, I said, where am I staying? Normally I stay with in the ashram. Swami Lakshman जी का जो mention कर रहे थे, उनका आश्रम है निशात में. And by the way, Swami Lakshman ji's elder sister was my father's first wife. So that's how I have connection with that ashram for a very, very long time. But this time they said, the CSIR, that we have arranged your place somewhere in a hotel which is near Amar Singh College or somewhere there. They didn't give me the location of this. So उसके बाद जब I reached hotel, I said, this looks like some familiar place. Because the place has changed there. Because a lot of shops coming up, lot of malls that come up all around it. There's a hospital there. So I said, person, where is this location, exact location you tell me? He said, it's Amar Singh College, and then there is next, Gogji Bagh and Wazir Bagh area. This is. I said, is it Wazir Bagh area? I lived there for 30 years. He said, yes, this is Wazir Bagh. So I called the person who had bought our house. We sold it much later, thinking that we'll always go. It was my grandfather's house. So I called him. I said, where are you? I said, I'm in such and such hotel. He said, yes, sir, something. I'm coming to meet you now. I said, I will meet you in the evening, let you in case meeting, so you can meet in the evening. He said, yeah, both usme. And while I was talking, he was in the hotel. I said, where are you? He said, the next wall is your house. So I was so close to my house. Then I said, my host that let me go and see this house. He has built up, he has not broken that house. He said, I will not, do anything to it, but he has made some rooms inside, 1 or 2 good rooms. So he said, chai kappa chamuyet. I want to have a cup of tea in my own house. Can you arrange it? He had built a small office there. So I went to my own house, had a cup of tea after 40 years of my life. And that kind of a feeling which I have, which you surplus was even that we have lost something. Sometimes when you come here and do not remain connected with the state, Kashmir, you tend to forget. But that's what I tell everybody, that we should visit Kashmir. And as they were mentioning that, let's not forget that we are not settlers of Hyderabad or Faridabad or here. We are original settlers of Kashmir. And this memory should stay in our mind. So I think these are the kind of things which probably we need to do. The last point I want to mention is one of the challenges which still the community has. Many of us who came from there, although I had left much earlier, is that there is, many of you are well settled. You have houses, you have cars, you have everything which is there. But believe me, there are a lot of Kashmiri Pandits, not only in Jammu or Kashmir, but even in places like Faridabad, I get those requests, who are not financially okay. Every time, I think we have been supporting from Kashmiri Hindu Samaj, 6-7 families we supported for almost a year. There is one person who is in such a bad shape that we again supported him for 6 months. Then finally the GC decided we do not have enough. I told him I will support you myself. But I think there is a need to have some collective consciousness amongst the community that while I have taken a step forward and I am much better off, I think we should look behind that how many of us are still in that state of financial instability which we need to support them. So I think these are many of the challenges which we still have. Of course, the biggest challenge, as was mentioning, whether we can go back or not, that is for future to say. But there are some challenges which can be sorted out within the community. And there are the other kinds of challenges which needs to be sorted out with the government or with those in the power. So we need to probably classify these ones, and over a period of time, each individual Sabha, along with the AIKS, let's try to find solutions to these challenges which we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sobori sir. As you mentioned that challenges and solutions, you said that solutions will come from the next generation, surely, but we need your enlightenment and guidance. Next generation needs that from you all. And the connect and participation, as you discussed, that in different, like Havan. Fortunately, we have been conducting Havan here, and post-COVID we started conducting again, and there is a good participation, and good thing is that youngsters come and join. That is great thing in Hyderabad. So our pursuit is also that we pass on that to next generation so that they can carry forward. Timo kod is Kashmiri manz. Magar Kashmir hekan na saini dil to soul manz kadin zan. You should have that. So to continue this program, I request Dr. Manorama ji to be on dais and put her perspective on program.
Namaskar, Sarvi. Am I audible? Namaskar, Sarvi. Sarvi Khutgoda, after hearing Dr. Raina, Professor Sopori, Pandita sir, I think that I have to ponder, I have to think, looking at the next generation and being a connecting link between our elders and bridging that with next generation, I have access to mostly the youngsters and I have access to the elders also. So I can give you some kind of views about the youngsters also. And actually I am a, you can say, activist kind of a woman with a very fierce kind of a activism. Saying so, Gwanati Yele Sopori Saramon, Ke Meos Gar Tak Nazdika. मेरे दिलचना मना खंजे. I was actually literally into tears. मुझे उमराव जान का वो अल्फाज याद आए जब रेखा अपने घर जाती है and she says she was on that आंगन उस आंगन में बैठ के वो कहती है ये क्या जगह है दोस्तों ये कौन सा मुकाम है कहीं हमारे साथ ऐसा न गुजरे कि हम भी कल सदियों बाद यही पूछे ये क्या जगह है दोस्तों ये कौन सा मुकाम है saying so first of all I would like to say we need to आजकल जब projects करते हैं since I belong to the current generation and I am into project proposals and into research and all that I would like to say that theory of change is the in thing theory of change is fanan gwandachas muchun क्या सोन आउटकम क्या है स्केच का सोन गोल क्या है दोन मिनटन चाहिए स्पना एसोशु कशीर तारो वेंगा भी यकीन प्रोफेसर सोपोरियन मोन है एस्टिमेशन challenges estimation solutions so when I am talking about theory of change I am talking about how I am going to bring this change knowing that we architect में क्या सिर्फ 10,000 नफर and लगभग 1.5 crore student population in 10 districts. So not even 0.0001% is taken. The escash tooth karo. Unsa aisa sa visible. Unsa sein आवाज ही बोझ तो ये theory of change बना about the assumptions. Look at assumptions and look at the presumptions. When I am saying that look at the assumptions and look at the presumptions, I am saying कि ऐसी वर्णती विषय क्या-क्या है कि विषय क्या-क्या है possibility अगर मैं बोल चुका शीट तारनू मैं क्या-क्या है inputs जैसे हम as organization करते हैं हम white papers बनाते हैं हम case studies बनाते हैं हम best of the narratives लिखना चाहते हैं but हमारा narrative हमेशा weak रहा है Do you know Muslims का I spoke my daughter who is Tata Social Sciences में उसने पढ़ा bachelor's भी किया master's भी किया and progressive students ने उसको push किया to be a president to be voice of the student community. Now the question is when I spoke to her हम पे atrocities हुई है वो मुझे कह रही है but Muslims पे तो ज़्यादा हो गई है मतलब वो औरत जो हर दिन घर में इसको पकाती है बोलती है क्या गवैस still our narrative is not that strong it doesn't pierce to the next generation as compared to the narrative of the Muslim community now latest अभी मैंने अपने ग्रुप में एक रंगनाथन का वीडियो डाला Ranganathan is talking about the history, and जैसे Dr. Raina ने कहा, this is remains in the race memory. और Professor Sori, he also narrated certain incidents, and Pandita sir ने also कुछ incidents बताए about what happened to us and also the picture what we saw. But race memory में ये रह के भी कि हमारा narrative क्यों इतना weak है? People remember Kanan Posh. हालांकि तत्कोर ने तुम्हारा आर्मी वाले तुम्हें रेप किया, मैं कहा अगर कोई नेट करे विकिपीडिया करे तुम चाहो ना 700 मुसलमान को न सके रेप लक्ष्य मुसलमान लड़के समूह. Who is talking about these things? SKS talk no panu narrative. Archi yahe bana sarla but who are the we never say. Recently, unfortunately, DGP Sahai has come out with a video wherein he says other community has suffered much more than that. Their people are killed much more than that. Why don't we talk about the probability ratio? अगर वो 1.5 करोड़ है उन्होंने तो मरना ही मरना है. अगर गोलियां ठकेंगी तब भी उन्होंने मरना है. But उन्होंने गन उठाया था. हमने गन नहीं उठाया था. They were part of it. They were hands in glove with this. So उनको almost X times ज़्यादा होना चाहिए था. और population wise भी X times ज़्यादा multiple होना चाहिए था. मैं अगर 4 लाख थी, वो तो कम से कम 1.5 करोड़ लोग थे, उन्होंने उतने टाइम ज्यादा तो मरना ही था अंडर नॉर्मल कंडीशन एंड अंडर एबनॉर्मल कंडीशन, जहां पे वो लोग उनको घर में सहाय देते हैं. They are talking about army rapes, they are talking about these rapes, they are not talking about the rapes that militants conducted on their girls, and they are in hush because they are the Sharia supports it. That you have to give, जो भी जहाँ दिया उसका everything, financial, sexual, every satisfy you have to satisfy. Who is talking about these narratives? Have we ever taken these narratives into a place? We're never spoken on these issues. We're never vocal about these issues. So theory of change में हमें assumptions, presumptions, inputs देखते हैं. तो जब हम inputs की बात करते हैं तो हमारा narrative कैसा होना चाहिए? हमारे रिसोर्सेज कैसे होने चाहिए? हमारे पास आजकल रिसोर्सेज नहीं है. फैक्ट है, मेरे भाई साहब ने कहा कि हैदराबाद में यंग जनरेशन आती है, बट व्हाट इज द सिनेरियो अक्रॉस इंडिया? वी डोंट हैव द यंग पीपल कमिंग इन. आवर किड्स आर नॉट कमिंग. दे मे कम एट अ टाइम. ठीक है, जनता मतलब 10 बार बोलोगे तब एक बार आ जाएंगे, अगर 100 बार. बट द क्वेश्चन इज when we don't let us see what are the normal tools, what are the tools that we can engage with them. ठीक है, they don't have the time, but they have the social media platform. Create social media platform. Create those kind of narratives through case studies. Let's build that kind of, population who will take this matter forward. Otherwise, हम तक ही ये रहेगा. So why I propagate theory of change is because it gives you some kind of, inputs. और क्या चाहिए? Resources चाहिए, लोग चाहिए, पैसा चाहिए, narrative चाहिए, case study चाहिए, facts चाहिए, सब है. But how we can make that input so strong that it gives us outputs. It brings some change. There is very much this thing कि आज की डेट में politicians are not paying any heed to Kashmiri Pandits. So HR का एक फंडा होता था. पीटर डकर कहता है you have to have disruptive technologies. आप उनको हिलाते रहो. जैसे हम बैठते हैं ना, we don't disrupt them. So when everything is very common, एम्प्लॉय आपका 8 बजे भी आता है, 6 बजे भी जाता है, 4 बजे भी जाता है. The moment आप उसको थोड़ा सा पुल करते हो, and that is what we do in our professions also. अभी बहुत अच्छा बेटा, you are verified, but we need to reprimand, and we do it in our office, and we have to do it actually in our lives also. We don't have to be that kind of के पॉलिटिशियन सोचते हैं ठीक है कश्मीरी जी फाइट करते हैं, बैठे हैं, खा रहे हैं, अरे आप तो बड़े अच्छे हो. महबूबा मुफ्ती से आई में, अरे आप तो ऐश कर रहे हो, सीओ वो यो. दैट्स अप टू मी. मैं कब जाना चाहती हूँ, क्यों जाना चाहती हूँ, कैसे जाना चाहती हूँ अपनी कश्मीर में. वो म्योन हक. Who the hell is somebody who will come in between my motherland and me? So I think जैसे विरथू ने किया, जैसे उसने, हम कहते हैं ना कि हम नहीं जाएंगे क्योंकि हम सिर्फ 2000 है, हमारी आवाज नहीं है. बुद्धिस्ट मॉन्क, he is just today 53 years. बुद्धिस्ट मॉन्क विरथू ने अगर ये कर सका, 969 कोड उसने किया यूज, wherein उसने Muslims की 9-2-11 कर दिए. Why we cannot do this? क्या एक भी कश्मीरी के अंदर खून वैसा नहीं है? That guy is just 53 today, 20 years before he generated this movement, 969. कि Muslims को कैसे उखाड़ना है? So we can very easily do it. We need to have a will. We need to have. कई लोगों ने सर पे कफन बांध के चलना है. I am ready. I am one of them. मैं कभी नहीं जा सकती. तो मेरी तो trajectory for last 2-3 years. It is on this agenda. I don't know when I will click and I will leave the job and go somewhere else. So somebody has to have this disruption in mind. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manorama ji. Yes. I think you rightly pointed out that narrative has to be there because in this marketing world, जो दिखता है वही बिकता है. So narrative has to be strong and inputs has to be so strong that our voice reaches to the people to whom it matters. Because the other side probably they don't have those inputs or solid narratives, but they create that marketing PR is very strong from that side. That impact is more. So we have to create that impact. But on other point, I have reservations that sar pe kafan bandhna agar hame karna tha, that would have done it 33 years back. I have my reservations. People can have their own. Correct. So correct. So to move forward, I would like Alka ji to be on the dais and say something.
Which is better. I always think on positive lines, very optimistic. So what I think about Kashmir is, Manorama said the sar pe kafan bandna hai, but I think there is a very thin line between what they call as bravery and foolhardy. आप समिट पे चढ़ते हैं और दैट इज ब्रेवरी. आप पहाड़ की चोटी पे चढ़ते हैं, दैट इज ब्रेवरी. बट एक कदम पहाड़ की चोटी से आगे गए, नीचे खाई में गिरेंगे, दैट इज ब्रेवरी. अच्छा. I think I am otherwise also ready. I love this. तो बट मुझे लगता है कि जो कम्युनिटी ने वेरी इवॉल्व कम्युनिटी तो विच के अडीच कजा छस दर साथ एक्सोडस गए बेगे वापस तिम छ तल खोचा तिमन छ अडीच दर यमिन बेगे इसलिए तिमन कनस तैयारी करित दुनिया हस पानस पतनवित मगर तिमन क्या गो पे वी हैव टू गो इनटू द हिस्ट्री ऑफ एंड जेनेसिस ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम है कि यम बने तेल जोरावर यम साजन इंडिया वाज एट इट्स मोस्ट वीकेस्ट पॉलिटिकली एंड इकोनॉमिकली 1991 हमारा जो गॉडफादर था जो हमारा युस अशोस पत नाम सो सोवियत यूनियन सोस मकलोमुत असेस बिल्कुल ही गमित बेहाल यमन यूएस करन पत्किनस वारिया सपोर्ट तिमन जोरावर तिमो पकनो यह जोरावर दोप कशीरस तिमन जरूरत तिमन यम त जरूरत कशीरस तिमन जरूरत वनकनस रिवर्स गमो सिचुएशन वनकनस इंडिया जोरावर इकोनॉमिकली पॉलिटिकली हम मकलेमित यमन पास यमन हेमत वनकस वारिया पास यम दी जोरावर वनकनस के they are morally very not out but they are down definitely. So but what now ourselves Kashmiri Pandits and the जो issue हुआ वहाँ पे I think our responses to situations जितनी भी जब भी situation have been very mature, calculated and well thought of. अगर इस तथ्य रोज हम बात ही बाजी में 2% versus 98% and with arms and ammunition जो उनके पास थे, हम बिल्कुल नहीं बच पाते. हमारे लिए बेस्ट ऑप्शन उस टाइम था. भी लोग बहुत कह रहे हैं, बहुत थ्योरीज हेमंत पासवान टाइम साथ कैंटोनमेंट एरिया हस मज दिन कैंटोनमेंट एरिया हस मज रोज हवाइज बे अनपढ़ विंकेनस हस हवाइज बेचारे एड पकनावा. मैं तो कहती हूँ हमारे रेस्पॉन्सेस हमेशा बड़े कैलकुलेटेड रहे हैं, बहुत ही मैच्योर रहे हैं. दैट वाज द टाइम जब हमने असरस पता था अस क्या गए, मगर असरस पता बचो जिंदा बचो ये न पता. लोग मोस्टली तो लोग गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स में थे, मेन एम्प्लॉयर तो गवर्नमेंट ही था. तो गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स की परवाह न करते हुए उस टाइम कश्मीरी पंडित निकले हैं रात के अंधेरे में. दैट मीन्स दैट सिचुएशन वॉज वेरी डायर फॉर अस. हमारे लिए वहाँ रहना ठीक नहीं था. अभी भी मैं कह रही, देखो जेनोसाइड के बड़े सारे आयाम हैं. जेनोसाइड अगर हम कहेंगे कि आप टेक्स्ट बुक डिस्क्रिप्शन में जाए कि रेस का एक्सटर्मिनेशन हुआ, तो वो कहेंगे जी रेस का एक्सटर्मिनेशन तो नहीं हुआ. बट जेनोसाइड के बड़े आयाम हैं कि भाई रूट से बाहर गए और हम दूसरे एनवायरनमेंट में गए. कहाँ हम ठंड में थे, कहाँ हम गर्मी में थे. उस टाइम इतनी अनसर्टेनिटी 10 साल तक तो इतना था कि प्राइवेट स्पेसेस नहीं थे. यंग जो कपल्स शादी सिंगल चाइल्ड नॉर्म आ गया. उसके बाद हम अब मोस्टली हम अर्बन हैं. अब तो हम गांव में न रह ही नहीं रहे. अच्छे बड़े बड़े शहर में रोजा आईटी जहाँ पे है, आईटी के जहाँ बड़े हब्स है वहीं हम रहते हैं. वो सारे कॉस्मोपॉलिटन जहाँ प्राइसेस, लिविंग प्राइसेस आर सो हाई कि आप बड़ी फैमिली रख ही नहीं सकते हैं. तो ये भी एक जेनोसाइड का आयाम है कि आपने हमको रूट से ही बाहर निकाला. हमने जहाँ हम रह रहे थे सालों से, सेंचुरी से, वहाँ से हम ये तो एक जेनोसाइड का. देखिए गवर्नमेंट चुना ऐसे कर रहा. अभी कोई बता रहे थे जो सिनर्जी बिटवीन आस एंड कश्मीर दैट्स मिसिंग. एंड जितना हमारे रिसोर्सेज के विदिन हो सकता है उतना कश्मीरी पंडितों ने किया. हमने बहुत किया. हमने इतने रिसोर्सेज हमारे पास थे भी नहीं अवेलेबल. 96 में जो इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस दिल्ली में गई और विच वाज लार्जली फंडेड बाय पीपल लिविंग अब्रॉड. यूएस से ज़्यादातर लोगों ने फंड किया. उससे तो हिल ही गए थे दिल्ली में जो सरकारें बहुत हिल गई थी. उसके बाद जो हमने कानून कश्मीर का नारा दिया उससे तो अभी भी फारूक अब्दुल्लाह कश्मीर उपनाव. और उसके बाद भी जो हम कर रहे हैं अपने बच्चों के लिए, जो हमने देखे एक भी एकेडमी, हम कहते हैं एसकेएस साथ किया, सब कुछ किया, लेकिन इम्पैक्ट कहीं नहीं था. क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट ने हमारी दे ट्राई टू डाउन प्ले आवर साइड ऑफ द स्टोरी. और हम नैरेटिव क्यों नहीं बिल्ड अप कर पा रहे थे? ट्रूथ इज ऑन आवर साइड. लोगों पाने बोजना बेस पता गवर्नमेंट गो हिंदुस्तान ज्यादा, इंडिया ज्यादा victims, first line victims, but government of India has lost the game. Government of India will build a narrative on our behalf, which they did not. और उनको लगा कि अब जो तब के बड़े बड़े पत्रकार हैं जी, हमने इनका जो हमें पता था बहुत बुरा हुआ है, एक रात में बहुत सारे लोग निकल आए, बट वी डाउन प्लेड दैट न्यूज़ के. हमको लगा इससे आग फैल जाएगी, बहुत कम्युनलिज्म हो जाएगा, कम्युनल राइट्स हो जाएगी, आग फैल जाएगा. तो इन अ वे कि गवर्नमेंट भी उस नैरेटिव जो हमको डाउन प्ले करने का था उसके साथ था. अब नैरेटिव आई थिंक जो सहाय ने कहा है कुछ बहुत गलत कहा है. क्योंकि कहीं पे उन्होंने, यू ऑल मस्ट वॉच दैट वीडियो, 1 घंटे का है, बहुत इंफॉर्मेटिव है. इंफॉर्मेटिव इन द सेंस जो वो कह रहा है, आई थिंक वो गवर्नमेंट की बात कर रहा है जो आज गवर्नमेंट सोच रही है जिन लाइंस पे. और वो कहीं भी वो कहते हैं टेरिबल. हम एक लाइन वो जो हमेशा मतलब साथ साथ कहते हैं whatever happened to Kashmiri Pandits was terrible. एंड मैं तो खुद विटनेस रहा हूँ टू गोरी incidents where a mother and daughter were killed. They were first raped and then they were killed. And he was the जो वहाँ पे SP थे उस टाइम या DSP थे, उन्हीं के jurisdiction में हुआ था. और ये विटनेस है उस इंसिडेंट के. तो कहते हुआ है whatever happened with them, it's terrible. बट कहीं ना कहीं बट हाँ, आई हर्ड जगमोहन ने फैसिलिटेट किया था. उनका जो एक्सोडस था, विच इज रॉन्ग। उनको नहीं कहना चाहिए था, नहीं थे। जगमोहन वॉज नेवर इन्वॉल्व विद इंस्टिगेटिंग पीपल टू लीव, वो तो 100% है। और ये थ्योरी अगर गवर्नमेंट को, अगर ये गवर्नमेंट का बंदा जो डीआईजी वहाँ था इतने सारे, अगर वो कह रहा है तो बहुत गलत है, इसका रिबटल जाना चाहिए, हमारी तरफ से तो एटलीस्ट जाना चाहिए। बाकी वो भी बहुत सारी थोड़ा कंट्रोवर्शियल ही जा रहा है। तो हमें वो जो नैरेटिव बिल्डिंग का जो हमने किया ना, वो शायद हमें मगर माइन को तिमन भगवान पाने तिमन सुन पाकिस्तान के कैसे जल्दी बन मकले सुमा मकले कंट्री ही वही सो गए चाइना चुप ना जागा China has freedom, they are mortally afraid of China. तिमन शुमासा अगर जन ये चाइना नहीं दिखे या ऐसे असनियार भी न पत मुसलमान। सो चाइना और जो नया जो डायनामिक्स इंटरनेशनल कंट्रीज का बन रहा है, उससे दे आर नॉट वेरी कंफर्टेबल विद दैट कि पाकिस्तान और चाइना दे आर कमिंग क्लोजर, और यूएस भी अब, और ये अब खुद ही बदनाम हो रहे हैं। पूरे यूरोप में उन्होंने इतना धूम मचाई है, वहाँ इतना कर रहे हैं। सो आई थिंक दे आर कमिंग, बट हमारा इशू जो है वो रह रहा है, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट उसमें बहुत प्रोएक्टिवली परस्यू नहीं कर रही है। और मुझे ये लगता है कि जो हमारे रेस्पॉन्सेज रहे हैं, दे हैव बीन ऑलवेज वेरी अप्रोप्रिएट। आई थिंक ये साथ ऐसे वी डिड नॉट वांट आवर चिल्ड्रन जब भाग के आए कि इवन एक भी, आई थिंक जो बच्चे हैं छोटे छोटे, दे मस्ट appreciate this and thank their parents कि आपका एक भी एकेडमिक ईयर हमने जाया नहीं होने दिया। हम आए हैं, भाग के आए, हमारे पास कुछ नहीं था खाने के लिए, टेंटू में रहे, लेकिन स्कूल सबसे पहले देखा ये बच्चा तजेस पद गए ताकि जब टेंट स्कूल तथ मस्जिद रहे बच्चे कि एक भी आपका एकेडमिक ईयर नहीं जाए, किसी का एकेडमिक ईयर नहीं गया है। अदरवाइज अगर ये होता नैरेटिव बिल्डिंग करने में काम हो, ये तो ऐसे दरबदर सुबह उसका सोचना बिल्डअप थे काम। अब जब हमने अपने बच्चे, जब देखिए यूनिटी की बात जब होती है, आप यू ऑल मस्ट अंडरस्टैंड, यूनिटी भी हमने दिखाई। जब हम बाला साहब ठाकरे के पास भी लीडर गए, हरंतल तौर पर दस्तार ऐसे तो बन सीटे मन खतरा ऐसे सन्ना तो बात है इसका सबने। तो इकोनॉमिक जो हमारी स्ट्रेंथ है ना इस टाइम, अब मैं कह रही हूँ रिटर्न कैसे होगा, मैं आपको बता रही हूँ। देखिए गवर्नमेंट जो जिसपे हमें बहुत गवर्नमेंट पे नाज था करेगा, आई डोंट थिंक दे आर आल्सो वेरी कीन, दे आर रेडी टू सैक्रिफाइस अस फॉर द अदर साइड शुड कम क्लोजर टू अस, व्हिच दे विल नॉट गो टू द इन कैन ह्यूमन के तो ईमान गिरना। देखिए कैसे आएंगे कितने बदमाश, तुम कैन ह्यूमन के आपको वोट देना। देखिए कोई जमीन से पता करके कि वो बीजेपी कश्मीर पर नहीं मिलेंगे वोट। एनीवे दैट डजंट कंसर्न अस, हमें कोई अच्छी पानंदों सुलभ कर पानिंग अच्छी पानिंग करा ये कारण कि हमें इकोनॉमिक रूट से, देखिए अगर आप हिस्ट्री में जाएंगे ना, यू विल सी कि तमिलनाडु में एक बार एंटी ब्राह्मण मूवमेंट ऐसी थी, ब्राह्मण से सही करे, ब्राह्मणों ने क्या किया कि केम बैक आ गए वापस, इकोनॉमिक रूट से आ गए। हमें इकोनॉमिक रूट से वापस जाना है, हमें एम्प्लॉयमेंट नहीं चाहिए, हम एम्प्लॉयर बनेंगे। बेथ है सिर्फ यार ये मिस कश्मीर में जमीन या मकान सब पिंजर बेच ब्याज ये मिस ये का था पी वो जमीन और मकान खरीदो। मैं कह रही हूँ दैट इज द ओनली वे, अपने ही बलबूते पे हम जाएंगे। वी विल अगेन क्रिएट अ हिस्ट्री कि हम अपने हमें कोई गवर्नमेंट ने कहीं भी हमको पैट्रोनाइज नहीं किया है, नहीं किया कभी हमें गवर्नमेंट ने, कहीं भी किसी गवर्नमेंट ने भी पैट्रोनाइज। हम अपने बलबूते पे गए हैं, अपनी अकल से गए हैं, अपना इंटेलेक्ट लगा के गए हो, और हम वापस जाएंगे क्योंकि हमारी आस्था के जो केंद्र है वो वहाँ पे है। वो मंदिर जो है अभी हम कर रहे हैं, बहुत कर रहे हैं, आगे भी करेंगे। बी ऑप्टिमिस्टिक, इट विल टेक लॉन्गर, क्योंकि देखो बेसिकली लड़ाई दो बहुत इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे अब लड़ाई चल रही है, इस्लाम वर्सेस क्रिश्चियनिटी, वर्ल्ड मर्ज पाका यो द टाइम सो फर्स्ट दैट्स इट, ताकि कुछ देर में ताकि 100% क्रिश्चियनिटी दे विल बी सप्रेस, दे विल बी मॉल्ड 100%। इनके ये मन फुटन पारो टाइमिंग दो बुनी खुनी यमन 80% 10 फुटन फुल पारो 10 द पन्ने मैक्सिमम ली 2000 par karna take China. So with those words, I thank you all.
Alkaji, thank you, Maharaj. Yes, we took wise step by leaving at that time. That was the right decision to be taken at that time. मगर ये जो उसने पता किया जैसे कि मैं स्पॉन याद बोस टाइम्स 11th पढ़ा मिडल 11th एग्जाम और सिस्टर 12th पढ़ा एक्चुअली एग्जाम के कि मैं मोस्ट तक आसान दिसंबर से और चित्राम में फाल कम 1 जनवरी इस तरह 14 जनवरी एक्चुअली मैं चलो नियरो practically you know be about us practical आम थे इधर में वचन पता मैं ये आसान कि ना मगर स्टार्ट होता finally I request Gautam ji to present his perspective.
My name is Dr. Gautam Kaul. Just to reintroduce myself once again to all of you. I work for the Government of India. So I think the Government of India has done its job, and I started working for the Government of India in 1989. So I have a lot of mixed memories. 20-25 साल से मैं श्रीनगर गया नहीं. पिछले 2 साल में मैं 20 बार गया. 20 times I visited Srinagar in the last 2 years. I'm at the end of the scale now. जो हम लोग का स्केल होता है गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया में, मैं उसके एंड ऑफ द स्केल पे आ चुका हूँ. स्टैग्नेट कर रहा हूँ और हम लोगों को स्टैग्नेशन इंक्रीमेंट देते हैं गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया में. हर 2 साल में एक इंक्रीमेंट देते हैं कि चलिए आप फिर भी काम करते रहिए साहब, मेहनत करते रहिए, कुछ ना कुछ मिलेगा. इट्स अ वेरी कॉम्प्लेक्स इशू बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स है, सिंपल नहीं है. And each and every one of us is trying in our own small way to try to do something for the community, for all of us, for ourselves. And in that, let me first and foremost congratulate Kashmiri Hindu Sabha Telengana, which has done a commendable job. I really need to congratulate you. And thank you so much for doing this over here. I was told yesterday that we are a 400 or 500 strong group over here. And like all KPs, we don't have a herd mentality, so we won't come in a herd here. We will come in small numbers, but those numbers are strong enough. We have got people like Alkaji, Normaji, and I would request all of you to give a standing ovation to Dr. Ramesh Rena, please. ज्वाइन करना बहुत मुश्किल होता है, क्रिटिसाइज करना, गलतियां निकालना. इट्स वन ऑफ द इजीएस्ट जॉब एंड वी केपीज आर वेरी गुड एंड एडेप्ट एट इट, नो डाउट. इट्स इन आवर जीन्स. कोई बड़ी बात नहीं, हम लोग क्रिटिसाइज करते रहते हैं. जोड़ना लोगों को, किस तरह सामने चले, किस तरह इकट्ठे चले, बहुत मुश्किल काम है. मैं पिछले 2 साल में जो कश्मीर में गया, गणपतियार में जाके तो खैर 2-3 घंटे रोता रहा, वो तो खैर अलग कहानी है. Disclaimer first up, we are still, they might have a Kashmiri Telangana Brahmin over there open a shop, they will not let you guys open a shop over there. Let us be very clear on that, absolutely crystal clear. They will prefer a Telangana Brahmin over a Kashmiri Brahmin to you even today. So what can we do about it? We can do, मैं हमेशा 10 पॉइंट बताता हूँ और वो 10 पॉइंट वो सभी हैं जो आप लोगों ने इनकैप्सुलेट करे हैं सुबह. इसकी प्रोटोकॉल में चेंज करता रहता हूँ. आज के हिसाब से मुझे लगता है सबसे पहला पॉइंट है जिससे हमें लड़ना, हमें पैसा लाना है. हमारे पास पैसा नहीं है, बिल्कुल नहीं है पैसा. We don't have money with us. We need money with us. How to get the money? Our kids. यहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया में कौन होगा? कहाँ है हमारे बच्चे? मैं जम्मू में 2 सेंटर चलाता हूँ, सुपुरी साहब दिन बोल रहे हैं, एक आधे में मुझे लगता है एक आधी बार वो भी गए थे. हमारे बच्चे गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया में आ ही नहीं रहे, उनको पावर दिखाई नहीं रहे. मैं अपनी बेटी को डीसी का जब तक पावर नहीं दिखाऊंगा, वो कहेगी नहीं पापा ठीक है मैं तो जाऊंगी कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर में पैसे कमाऊंगी. बट क्या हम उस लेवल का पैसा कमा रहे हैं कि हम गवर्नमेंट को मोल्ड कर पाए? हमारे बच्चे मोस्ट ऑफ देम आर इन द प्राइवेट सेक्टर प्रीटी मच. हमारे अच्छे बच्चे देश छोड़ के चले गए क्योंकि हम उनको अपॉर्चुनिटीज नहीं दे पा रहे. तो गवर्नमेंट हैज टेरिबली फेल्ड इन मेनी फ्रंट्स. One of the ways by which we can reconnect ourselves is building the temples over there. I visited Sharda. I stayed there for 5 nights. And I visited with my family. Is saal shuru mein, I think it was January, end of February start. And the Pandit ji there, his name is Shishu, a Telengana Brahmin. We don't have a Kashmiri Brahmin Pandit doing puja in the Sharda Mandir. What more ironical it can be. और वो कहता है तुम्हारा काम था पूजा करना, छोड़ दिया तुमने, क्यों नहीं करते पूजा? My mother visited the original Sharda Mandir along the same route 1948-49. और वो घोड़ों पे बैठ के जाते थे and all those things. तो एक तो चीज हमें जो बड़ी स्ट्रांगली जो हमें रिकनेक्ट करेगी वो करेगी टेम्पल्स. लोग इसे टेम्पल पॉलिटिक्स कहें कुछ कहें, बट मैं बड़ी स्ट्रांगली बिलीव करता हूँ कि टेम्पल्स को हमें दोबारा करना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज दैट इज इन आवर ब्लड. वी आर शैवियर्स, हमारे ब्लड के अंदर वो घुसा हुआ है. पूजा करते बच्चे नहीं कर रहे हमारे, बट वो देखेंगे तो करेंगे. वो कहते हैं कि पूजा करके क्या पापा, इट गेट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर मी टू माय डॉटर टू एक्सप्लेन के श्री श्री रविशंकर के थ्रू मैं शिवा के पास जाऊंगी. मैंने कहा मैं डायरेक्ट जाऊँ ना शिवा के पास. वो श्री श्री के थ्रू जाएंगे. ठीक है जाओ, श्री श्री के थ्रू जाओ, आई एम ग्रेटफुल टू श्री श्री, पर जाओ तो सही. तो एक चीज तो ये टेम्पल्स वाला है. दूसरा इकोनॉमिक फ्रंट. तीसरा हमें रीसेटलमेंट के बारे में हम सोच सकते हैं, बट कानून वाला जो हमारा मूवमेंट था ड्यू टू वेरियस रीजंस, अग्निशेखर साहब थे, इट डिडंट टेक ऑफ. क्योंकि उस टाइम मैं इजराइल रहा था 2-3 साल. मेरी इनिशियल सारी पढ़ाई लिखाई बाहर की हुई है. तो मैं इजराइल था, मैंने इस्लाम यूनिवर्सिटी के अंदर, सर सोपोरी साहब जानते हैं अच्छे से. तो उन लोगों ने पॉकेट्स बनाए थे. तो हमने पॉकेट्स बनाने में हम लोग फेल हो गए. पॉकेट्स बनाना बहुत जरूरी था. अगर हमने पॉकेट्स बनाए होते तो शायद हम इतने स्कैटर्ड थ्रू आउट नहीं. अब पॉकेट हैदराबाद से दिल्ली का जोड़ना मुश्किल है, अब्बा कतल से फतेह कतल जोड़ना आसान था अगर पॉकेट होता. एक और मैं चीज आप लोगों से शेयर करना चाहता हूँ. माय फादर वाज, ही डाइड जस्ट अ ईयर अगो. आई सेलिब्रेटेड हिज बर्थडे ऑन द 14th. वो मिलिट्री इंटेलिजेंस में थे. तो जो आप लोग सब बातें कर रहे हैं, हमारे घर में सुबह शाम रात दिन होती थी. आई कैन शेयर मेनी थिंग्स विद यू. ही वाज कॉट इन 62 इन चाइना. तो इंदिरा गांधी, लाइक ऑल केपीज, ही फॉट विद काउ. काउ के साथ वो काउ के प्रोटेजी था. ही वाज द प्रोटेजी ऑफ काउ. हिज नेम वाज गिरीश चंद्र कौल. ही वाज द प्रोटेजी ऑफ काउ. बट हम लोग जैसे बहुत स्मार्ट लोग हैं, हम लड़ जाते हैं. फिर लड़ना हमारे खून में है इंटेलेक्चुअली, और फिर वो कोई एडजस्ट नहीं करता. सो ही फॉट विद काउ ओवर द इंदिरा गांधी इशू. Indira Gandhi started having not so soft corner towards us towards the later part of her career. शुरू में तो वो थी, शुरू में तो डाई हार्ड हमारे साथ थी, when even Sheila Paul was there. But later part of her career के अंदर वो थोड़ा सा, which is happening with Jitendra also in Jammu, which I was discussing with Raksha in the morning. तो वो चीज़ें हमें अपने माइंड में रखनी है. How to go about bringing the political clout with us. हमारे पास numbers नहीं है, लेकिन आप लोग मेन स्ट्रीम को ड्राइव करते हैं. आप लोग मेन स्ट्रीम को ड्राइव करते हैं. आप लोग एजेंडा सेटअप करते हैं, बिल्कुल एजेंडा सेटअप करते हैं. और आप इतने ही लोग काफी हैं एजेंडा सेटअप करने के लिए. मैं बात कर रहा था इनसे सुबह, विकिपीडिया खोलिए, विकी का कोई खोलिए, वहां पे लिखा जाता है कश्मीर फाइल्स अ फिक्शनल अकाउंट. आज भी वहां पे लिखा जा रहा है. हमारे बहुत लोग हैं उसको काटते हैं. विकी को आप लोग डिलीट कर सकते हो, सब कुछ काटते हैं. वो एक बहुत बड़ी टीम 500 से 800 लोगों की लगी हुई है जो उसको फिर फिक्शनल कर देती है. तो नैरेटिव बदलना आसान नहीं है, उसके लिए पैसा चाहिए. पैसा आपको 800 से 900 प्रोग्रामर्स चाहिए जो गूगल पे बैठे सुबह से शाम डेटा अपलोड करते रहेंगे. वो लोग डिलीट मारेंगे, आपको फिर अपलोड करना पड़ेगा. शारदा का डेटा मैं गूगल शारदा हैंडल करता हूँ. इतनी प्रॉब्लम आती है उसमें, इतनी प्रॉब्लम आती है. एंड दिस इज डिस्पाइट we having support from Muslims across the border, across Sharda. वो सपोर्ट थी, फिर भी आती है हमें प्रॉब्लम. तो वो चीज़ हमें करनी पड़ेगी. और बहुत पॉइंट्स हैं. आई थिंक रिकंसिलिएशन एंड ट्रूथ टेलिंग तो करना ही करना है. मैंने कश्मीर वेलफेयर एसोसिएशन करनाल में एक भवन बनाने की कोशिश करी है. आई एम वेरी ग्रेटफुल वो बना है. एंड तो वहाँ पे हमने क्या किया, हमने फोटोग्राफ्स लगाई हैं. क्योंकि हम और आप लोग नहीं रहेंगे अगले 20-25 साल में. हमारे बच्चे अमेरिका में होंगे, सेकंड और थर्ड जनरेशन, टिम, जॉन, मेरी में शादी करेंगे, और यू कांट अवॉइड इट. एंड मे बी बट आपकी लेगेसी को रखना, जैसे ज्यूज ने रखा हुआ है, रखना बहुत जरूरी है। लेगेसी को रखना बहुत जरूरी है। आप जीटीआर जाइए, आई वाज सरप्राइज्ड, वी आर नॉट वेस्टिंग कश्मीर। मैं कल बात कर रहा था, मैं इन्हीं ग्रुप्स में बात कर रहा था, लोग 4-4 साल 8-8 साल से कश्मीर नहीं गए हैं, उनके पास पैसा भर गया है। KMs are loaded with money now, loaded. You guys are nowhere. जो आप लोग सोचते थे ना, सुबह से पूरी साहब ने कहा, मैंने कहा यार वो ऐसे करे, कहते तुमने राज किया था यार उन पे। मैं सोच रहा हूँ राज किया था, पैसा तो है नहीं तुम्हारे पास, कहाँ से राज किया था हमने, कब किया था राज? वो नैरेटिव, हमें वो पैसा लाना पड़ेगा वापस, वी नीड टू ब्रिंग दैट मनी बैक। और वो मनी बैक लाने का गवर्नमेंट एक जरूर एक तरीका है, ये हमें सोचना पड़ेगा। गवर्नमेंट इज स्टिल वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग, गवर्नमेंट में बहुत पैसा है, गवर्नमेंट इज डूइंग अ लॉट फॉर द टेम्पल्स इन जम्मू एंड कश्मीर। जीटीआर में भी पीछे बहुत पैसा दिया है। एक लास्ट चीज मैं बोलूँगा, हमें आदि शंकराचार्य की तरफ भी देखना पड़ेगा। उसने चारों मठों को हमारे साथ कंबाइन किया, हमें इन चारों मठों को अपने साथ कंबाइन करना है। उडुपी के अंदर 500 कश्मीरी हिंदू पंडित फैमिलीज हैं। हाउ मेनी ऑफ अस नो इट? जो मणिपाल ग्रुप है, इट इज हेडेड बाय कश्मीरी, सारा हमारा ही है। तो हम लोग कितना कनेक्ट कर रहे हैं उनके साथ। हम बैंगलोर, मैं आई एम गोइंग टू बैंगलोर नेक्स्ट वीक, हम कितना रिकनेक्ट कर रहे हैं, कितना उनसे हम पैसा मांग रहे हैं, हमें मानना पड़ेगा और उसको अपने कामों में आगे लगाना पड़ेगा। और मे बी गोइंग बैक टू कश्मीर, माय फादर व्हेन ही डाइड, मतलब कहता मैं वहाँ मरता तो बहुत खुशी होती है। सबके साथ मैं चाहूँगा, कौन नहीं चाहेगा। इफ नॉट, आवर चिल्ड्रन समझते हैं बातें सारी, अप्रिशिएट करते हैं, हमारे जीन्स के अंदर है। वहाँ जाते गणपति का, आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू विजिटेड गणपति रिसेंटली, मतलब एनीबडी हु सीन गणपति इन हिज चाइल्डहुड, वो आज की डेट में देखे तो यार तो फौजी पंडित वहाँ बैठा, फौजी कपड़े में बैठ के पूजा कर रहा है। माय वाइफ स्टार्टेड क्राइंग पूरी तरह से, कैसे रुकोगे आप? बैठते हो ना, मैंने बोला निक्की को, माय वाइफ मैंने कहा तू बैठ जा यहाँ पे पूजा कर, वो हम कर ही नहीं रहे। वहाँ के लिए भी एक तेलंगाना से ब्राह्मण लेके आ रहे हैं पूजा करने के लिए, तो क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं हम लोग ये काम? Maybe the God is not happy with us because we are not praying. Maybe, I don't know. This the Pandit ji Shishu told me very, Shishu is from the Belur Math. उसने बोला कहता तुम पूजा करो, करते नहीं, छोड़ दी। पढ़ाई लिखाई कर रहे हो, इतने बड़े प्रोफेसर बने जा रहे हो, गवर्नमेंट इंडिया में जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी बने जा रहे हो, बड़े बड़े लोग बने जा रहे हो, पूजा नहीं कर रहे। तो वो एक चीज़ हम लोग को थोड़ा सा सोचना चाहिए। एंड आई वंस अगेन congratulate the Kashmiri Hindu Sabha Telengana for doing this fantastic job over here. And I also congratulate Dr. Rena for taking away time of अपना समय निकाला इन्होंने हम सब लोगों को जोड़ा। Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marco. Yes, you rightly said that any organization or movement can be driven by two things. One definitely is money. Money plays a vital role to keep any movement alive, and then manpower. Both things are very important in this moment. We hope that we can drive both things. Now, as Pandit Sahab in the morning said that more activities we are doing in KHST, and so far as keeping culture and heritage alive. And this thing, as he named Sanjeev Munshi ji in this perspective, that he has been doing a lot of work. I request Munshi Sahab to come on stage and present his work which he has done on this.
Namaskar, Marasani. I am Sanjeev Munshi, normally not a part of KHST. I am here by default because my son is based here, which was from Baroda as well. And last few years I have spent visiting a few countries. In fact, by now I've got a PR for Canada, so also I'm very busy. Post COVID, I retired from a job in March 2020. What to do? Lockdown. So I started working on a few things which were in my mind. And one of those was how to introduce my own children to our culture. It started with introducing our religious outposts. Imjai as which much as Parbatos, Tulmolos. By chance, my daughter-in-law and my son-in-law both are non-Kashmiris. So the point was that I wanted to introduce Kashmir to them. And this journey started with that. I'm thankful to Panditji. He forced me, yes, direct halat thoda not so conducive, but he forced me to nazar se chuiyo. For last 3 years, I have been writing for several of our community journals, including NAD, as and when they accept my articles. I wish to start my talk with a story about a friend who lives in Wayne, New Jersey. Remember, here I hope I can speak in Kashmiri also. His name is Mr. Bhupendra Gadvi. He is a 5th generation NRI. In 1880, one of his ancestors is left Gujarat, Bhavnagar, Gujarat, and they went to Zanzibar, which is off the African coast. From there they came to Kenya, Uganda, and they settled there. Till 1973 happened, when Idi Amin threw everybody, every Indian, mostly Gujaratis, he threw them out of Uganda. It was but away overnight paupers. The only thing was that they were given residence in UK. They had British passports, they went there. In these 50 years, they have prospered. They have now my friend, he is now living in USA. I went to his house. I felt that I was entering the household of a typical Gujarati. From food to decor to language, everything was Gujarati. So my point was, and incidentally, for 5 generations they have not come to India. For 5 generations they have not lived, neither he nor his wife have visited India. But their heart today also beats for India. Really I say, USA's Batav Kor date yaad sometime in March 22. There was a protest day. That day it was, the weather was very bad. But Bhupendra Gadvi and his wife were there with the flag. So what I was trying to say is that they retained their Gujarati culture down to the last comma. The impact of migration obviously has been zero. This is one point which I want to tell you. This is our 7th exile since 1389 AD. Each strike on us has left some collateral damage. Yet the first 6 exiles did not break our determination of adhering to our cultural roots. In the 7th exile, we are facing a unique challenge. We have en masse migrated into an ocean called India, and chances of losing our identity over a period of time are very real. Our community was confined to 135 or 32 kilometer intermonate valley over the last 5,000 years. Kashmir is within 7 bridges. Here's the pan. Srinagar, not Kashmir. Srinagar is the pan. The Satan Gadlas Mazig Chulwazan. Agar there's a place called Body here, near Velkar. Agar ऐसी रिश्तेदार ऐसी वहाँ हाउ कलर बैठे,
या रुई वाले पैट ऐसे होते हैं सुविध कमान गठन ठीक है अच्छे ज़माने तीनों ज़माने ये तो जो पाकिस्तान में सुन रहा है I am talking of early 60s. Loss of moorings and habitat has impacted our lifestyles, including various, and several people failed to adapt to the changes. Some effects of migration became evident immediately, including various physical and psychiatric disorders. I remember because I was associated with the pharmaceutical industry, we said they must take campaigns and we tried to provide with the help of some doctors some help to the people living in refugee camps, Muthi months ya pe Punjabi. The midterm impact of our exodus is becoming apparent now. We are now scattered not only across India but a healthy proportion nowadays in different parts of the world. Distances have impacted relationships. Gone are the days we used to visit our Matama, or when half a dozen cousins would sleep in one room. The relationship break happened. That is one of the worst tragedies. Because as people are already saying, now we have a one child now. One कहते रोज 5 cousin इकट्ठे गसन थे कहते रोजन माता हमारा सुध या कुछ जाए. That is a story which we know. Having got scattered all over India, there is a very strong chance that we may lose our cultural moorings and our connect with our socio-cultural traditions. The defining parameters, there are two defining parameters from the cultural point of view, political, cultural point of view. One is our sanskar and the second is our language. I discussed, in fact it was Panditji's insistence. तो बस ये ऐसा subject थोड़ा dry and people will not be interested. But he insisted, and I said, right on that. He rejected my first presentation just like that. The way, what are sanskars? The way we observe our socio-religious rituals. KPs follow what is called a Logakshi Padhati among Grahasutra. You know, I say across India, Maharaj, there are several Grahasutra, there are several Padhatis which were propounded by different rishis. Kashmiri Maharaj insist kara. Mr. Sanjay Rana, he swears by it. Sawal is we adapt the other things. I should Logakshi Padhati Pati Rose. I'm sure not many people in this room will be conversing with this text. Logakshi Padhati Maharaj is 24 sanskar. There are others, Yatmadan Sajish, there are others, Yatmadan Kartich, Manusmriti Mantis. There are a lot of texts that we have. Unfortunately, there is very limited material available. Khas taur se Logakshi Padhati Pati. And for the last 1.5 years, I have been trying to highlight the social-religious relevance of important sanskars and trying to document those in simpler terms so that our next generation understands. As I said, sanskars are rituals which vary in number and detail. As much as regional traditions they are. Gautam Dharmasputra's much as Taji sanskar. Idha kenchi beiti bakaya alag-alag rishi or leads and we follow only the Logakshi Padhati. I have given the names of 24 sanskars which our Panditjis follow. Unkya was Gasan, because of various reasons. As much as Tim sanskar the, I will just highlight this. I'll explain some of them, not all. खबर तो है आज को याद मेखल यदि आसान से तात्पर्य से निर्बंध खार. Now how many of us know that this is a Garbha sanskar? Before the birth of a child, there were 3 sanskars. One is Garbhadan or Bijavapan sanskar. Second is Pumsavan, which is the sanskar to prevent birth defect in miscarriages. Third is Simantanayana, which is similar to today's baby shower. In 3 years you are done before the birth of a child. But आज because Panditji station पता है इच्छा गमित के नशा गमित है. पांच दिन मेखली दो इन स्वेदी संस्कार निवाय इकट्ठे किए. योजना की Nirvan Kharun was Simant Nahanas one step. The idea was that husband will take care of the wife. So the must is into two parts karan, and he would assure his wife that I'll be with you during your pregnancy. So what we have lost is the context. Variant channel pathway inches. It can kahani and which has significance. Namkaran sanskar, Nishkraman sanskar, Anaprashan sanskar, Judakaran sanskar, Zarakasi as Vananchi. Karnamed comes on. I'll tell you a very interesting. Panditji, you'll excuse me for digression. Umara was I was in Canada. So me and my wife is Bazar Kamujan in some shop. And I saw a young girl, 18 saal ki ladki thi. My wife told me that Abhishek Khan Sobiethan, as a butler. So I went and I met with Tamka's personality. I just talked to her. Are you from Kashmir? And then she said, she called him also. It so happened that their parents are working in Dubai. Canada. And by chance I could recognize her. Isn't themselves Khan Somni? Kya? Isn't Khan Somni? India's must be Bakayan, cultural month. Magar it is only in Kashmiri Pandits Samaj. International in Kara, danger culture. This is exclusive to Kashmiri Pandit Samaj. How many of us do it, I do not know. Magar you owe us Kashmiri Mandak, as was at age between 3 to 5 years the Kashmiri Karna. If you are interested, I can give you a full presentation on that. I have prepared those and I shared those. Some of them have been published also. So, using sanskaras, even though there was a rationale for it. There was a reason why they were there. It was not without reason. Now, what has happened is there is a disconnect. And because of disconnect, younger generation, they ask questions. Incidentally, as I said before, my daughter-in-law is she's of Odia stock. Originally Odia, born in Andhra Pradesh, educated in Tamil Nadu, and working in Telangana. So when the marriage got finalized, and my son would have told her, she insisted that I will get my Khan Somna. But she insisted, and she came all the way to Delhi. My cousin, the doctor, thanked me, but that was the willingness of that girl. That was the willingness of that girl, that I must do this. Second, Vidya Aram Sanskar, Upanayan, Mekhal Valanche, especially Ved Aram, which is start of formal education. Keshant, first shape for the boys at puberty. Ritu Suddhi. Kashmiri means earthness karangi, agar karanti earth in a very different manner. But I have seen in Andhra Pradesh, in Odisha, in West Bengal, these sanskars are still being followed. Kashmiri ko zyada jaan tarika se. Last two sanskars are Vivah and Antyeshti. Obviously, Antyeshti follows Vivah. After that, a man is finished. As I said, unfortunately, not much literature exists in explaining the importance of various sanskars. In Kashmir, we owe a huge debt of gratitude to Pandit Keshav Bhatt Jyotishi of Ranawali, 1873 to 1946. During the Muslim period, alag-alag Badshah kya kor, because I see a strength of some Pakistan scriptures, imo think dimai zoilit, imo sun sui destroy karet. Why I say kuni gamas man kun jai kuni se alag-alag asalan kitab. Pandit Keshav Bhatt Jyotishi so he went to villages, he collected literature, Karnoon to compile, and then he got it published from Bombay. That's a man. But खोलते प्रिंटिंग प्रेस कशीर मज and he was able to distribute in Sain Pandit ji as 30 वरी 40 वरी 50 वरी ब्रोट ताई हमारा इस इम्पैक्ट ना पार्टी के दावे तिम इस पूजा करना तिम आसे all courtesy पंडित केशव भट्ट जोशी हमारा गाँव ये in this I was coaxed into exploring this highly technical subject by my foster daughter. Which was the name of Shivani Bhandar. She's based in Singapore. She's a young professional, IT professional, with 2 kids. Then उसका कोई काम जो चाहूँ थी क्यों? इतना कश्मीरी culture से revive करो. So she, हमको ना उस पर कौन सी तरीके से ऐसे देखनी चीज़. Let us document this. So the making objective. Let us document this. So we started documenting. And as I said earlier, लगभग सभी कई में important कई में cover excepting विवाह and अंत्येष्टि और जो बता पर this month I am bringing out one write-up on overall. यार पर mostly लोग जो वही थोड़ा बहुत कराएं या याद otherwise it's become happy birthday to you. Right? Usually ये Simpson's organization, Kashmir as it is, KII, they are doing a very brilliant job. I don't know how many people are aware of that. At least I made Panditji aware of it. तातो हमारा कोर आख जन्मदु birth ते बनो मुबारक छी and some good singer lady मुझे नाम याद करा तेमो Gyoz. If somebody is interested, we can share those beautiful song. Ahi. The idea was, hey, you must go to masjid. And whatever few I have written, Panditji has today, he has very kindly said that some reprints will be available in case somebody is interested. Or if somebody wants to get in touch with me, I can mail those which email ID sanjeev@hotmail.com. Please feel free to write to me. I'll definitely share in whatever form you want, PDF form you want, Word document you want, or printed in and published with that form. So sanskars is one area which we should not, because this is the way we are working. We have lived in चीज को नहीं खत्म करें. There are language. This has been covered by some of our colleagues or speakers who spoke earlier, and Karyana ji, Kuldeep there in Surat. He brings out a magazine in Sharda, Matreka, which is monthly, quarterly, but he brings out that. Is that actually Panditji ke Sozan? But anybody who has doubts, as far as we have to keep in mind that another community which has a history like ours, they are the Jews. For 2000 years, Jews were scattered all over the globe. मगर ये तुम वापस आए to Palestine, they were able to revive their language. Otherwise, David Ben-Gurion was speaking Polish, somebody else was speaking Yiddish, somebody else was speaking other German. So they were speaking all kind of languages. You took them Gomitis, such languages. Don Sas of 2000 years is not a small period. It can be revived, provided we have a homeland. That is very important. Without homeland, revive is thoda difficult. So Ghar Vapsi is the only solution. Once you ghar gachi, that we have to see. The other thing I would like to activating our cultural centers and group gatherings. Which our KPs have been, Kashmiri Pandits have been migrating since 1389. I would like to just share this thing with you. Do you want me to close?
No, continue.
See, what happened is that Batamuhala was, Allahabad was, Lucknow was, Gwalior was, even Zat very promote to look dry, they tried to maintain a community feeling. Using Batsaba, Lahore was, they Amritsar was. Amritsar is Batsaba, Kunushat Earth has been, Kunushat Bahas was been. almost the oldest. Memorial याद है जमीस में रोजा in 1970s ऐसे कैसा अम्फलास में जो बट सभा बस ताकि उस पंडित जगन्नाथ जी उसमें ना he made it very live. अर्था में ऐसा सांग बेकराम फंक्शन ऐसा. So there are usually craving chase for that community feeling such I see. Gomara goes 2019 I conducted the marriage of my son. That was functions, important functions. Certain of important was make. Now, my dilemma was I am based in Baroda. मैं कुछ ही तो और इमा रिश्तेदार से how many will come to Baroda? अगर आवते आकर न फलिए. So I decided to relocate myself to Faridabad. The Faridabad was at least I had 150, 200 people gathering there. Using his facilitation, even as in cultural centers, group gatherings, this should be facilitated. Most important, giving our next generation a strong cultural base. Tama aisu buzmutan, ya film tima aisu buzmutan. The Kerala story, and that girl Shalini tells her father, "Papa, गलती तो आपकी ही है. आपने हमें बहुत कुछ बताया, लेकिन धर्म क्या है इस विषय में कभी कुछ नहीं बताया." This is the responsibility of every single Kashmiri family. Please remember, this comes from home. Our generation is guilty of providing poor training about religion and culture to our younger generations. Most of us have taken pride in not being very ritualistic. Yeah, thoda apathy thi show karan. Home is where kids learn. Our kids by and large emulate the elders. How many of us observe the basic, as I said, Orwell, Gardapad, Khizmavas? They have lost relevance. How will our child learn? How can I blame my son when I don't do this? If we adults are not ready to take up our responsibility, we better stop crying about the loss of culture. Personally, as I said, I see a lot of parallels between Kashmiri Pandits and Jews. Both communities were forced to flee their homelands. Their temples were desecrated and broken several times. Jews suffered in exile for almost 2,000 years. Magar Timotho, Judaism, Zinda Pandit Garanmas, the Pandit Dilasmas. A very interesting thing, a square cubit of the wall of every Jewish house was kept unpainted. Half portion of the wall, the Muslims would paint this is the memory of the temple. Second, Jewish bride and bridegroom, they would crush a glass of wine on their wedding day, saying next year in Yerushalayim. Timon was the intention they can't do this. Magar Timo Korn Dut no Pani Shurunge, Mashran ke, I saw to Wapas Kunwan Watch. Okay, the Halak, but not the Sas really Laza, we have suffered religious persecution and cultural terrorism since 14th century. Some of the negative traits that were developed, like being highly individualistic, very selfish, prone to intra-community jealousy. These are probably being attributed to the inhuman persecution by the Pathans and Muslim rulers. Somebody just mentioned Pathan rule, but it was for only 66 years. Muslim rule has been there since 1339. For 5 centuries it continued, till 6 came and threw them out. I see if individual survival instinct has shown herd survival instinct. My mother would often tell me, Punshat Saptajas months, my mother was in Baramala, Varamali. The one Mewin Nine was Subas Nyandri, Chivuchan, Adosi, Podosi, Sri Chili. तो हे मन के पर लानत इवो मुन्ना ऐसे इस्तीनियर है इच्छा ऐसे individualistic trait. This plus inability to accept anything or anyone as a leader, that also marks us out. Dr. Chaim Weizmann, the first president of Israel and who was the president of World Zionist Organization, he said, if you have 2 Jews in a room, you'll have 3 opinions. That is so true of Kashmiri Pandits. Fine. So this community has a remarkable, MJ Akbar has written, this community has a remarkable capacity for endless splitting. Well, we are an endangered community, no doubt about that. Globally, we are less than 1 million. Less than 1 million. It's very limited. Leza, I speak, we will have to contribute towards the cultural connectivity with our families and with our culture. I speak Mara Yundan Havan Vara Karachi with all due regards, Tami beyond 2 steps ahead of that culture. How many societies have the legacy of Rishi Kashyap, of Abhinav Gupta, of Kalhan, of Panini, Maharishi Charak, Vasu Gupta, Acharya Kshemraj, Emperor Lalitaditya. Magar hope springs in me when I see that Shivani Ban doing that kind of work. Hope springs in me when I see Archana Kokru as heading Kashmir Overseas Organization. That we survived 7 exoduses, that gives me hope. Thank you. Sorry, I took more time than what I was allocated. Panditji, you'll excuse me. Slides delete.
Thank you, Manchiji. It was so precisely made and described. We have already circulated the printouts of this, and if anyone has not got volunteers, here it has not been circulated this week. So it should reach all. And मुंशी जी ने थोड़ा सा इमोशनल इन्होंने बोला कि हम बॉलगेर में रहते थे, बॉलगेर इसमें मातामाल ऋषि रेड्डी. So emotional touch again, reaching back to Kashmir. Now for the next speaker, I request that presentation be in either English or Hindi, because we have non-Kashmiri guests also here, so that it is easy for them to understand. Next, I request Mr. Dr. Vijay Raina to be on the stage, present something which is more relevant for next generation of Kashmiri Pandits. Over to you, Dr. Sir.
Sardi Namaskar. Before for the sake of our guests from non-Kashmiri community, so I would like to mix both Hindi and maybe Hindi and English more, and then wherever there is an anecdote in Kashmiri, so I will try to do that. Before I start the presentation, so we have heard so many speakers here, and then the conversation has been going on since morning. One thing is there. The first thing I would like to say is that AIKS and KHST, this is All India versus Telengana chapter. So when a small river, we have been watching these presentations in the corporate life and all. So whenever there is a small stream that mixes with a larger river, there is a turbulence. And then after some time, when the river swells, there is a silence, but there are undercurrents. So we have observed that when we should not go into those undercurrents, even if that river is silent after some time. So let this swell continue. Let small groups, wherever they are, let them try to connect with the bigger organization so that we fight for a common cause. That is one thing. That is what I observed just now. The second thing I observed is that we have touched upon certain aspects which are very important for the survival of the community. Say, for example, homeland, financial strength, connect with youth, connect with culture. So you won't believe, when I was trying to make this presentation, this was a general presentation, what happened in genocide and all. So then Panditji requested that let us make it short because time is short. So I have condensed this to focus on the Kashmiri Pandit community. And I'm surprised when I'm hearing this conversation. I think when you see the presentation, everything gets connected in this presentation. What that does mean? that means there is a subtle thinking process going on in our minds. Whether we are in Delhi, Faridabad, Canada, US, we are working towards a common goal, but there is a confusion. We have Ishna Maharaj, Kannachasan Tumlasmans. So we have a full bag of rice with some that kana in it. So we are trying to force that kana and to make a path. How we'll go to, how we'll reach to our objective. So. The better opportunities. That's how we came from 1992. Now, saturation. This is the saturation. That's what I believe. Because
Kashmiri
we have
Hindu Sabha
opportunities.
Telengana.
We have had opportunities.
Call आ रहा था.
Children have settled outside. Everybody is settled. We have economic opportunities. But we also have to. One speaker said that how to generate funds in also. I have put it in my presentation also. So. Now we, from saturation point, why do we go? That's the first question. That we should be asking to ourselves, where do we go? What is the ultimate aim of life? So do we need money, or do we need materialistic approach to adopt for next generation, or it has to be a mix, survival plus do something for the community? That we have to see. But I also want to point out again, we connect our route, because 50,000 families who had migrated at that time, they are still deprived of their right to live in Kashmir because of jihadi violence. That's the bottom line. Still. Next slide, please. So, when we see the shifts within community because of these 33 years of exile, Kashmiri Hindus spread within and outside India, because all over India, because that's how we are disconnected from each other. Emerges as one of the flourishing communities. This is not our observation, this is observation by big social scientists. Several social challenges crop up. We also touched upon challenges, because there are some issues, medical issues, old age issues, then there are some marriage issues. So those challenges are also cropping up, but we have to look into those challenges also. How do we put some support mechanism for those challenges? Whether in Jammu or Jaipur, wherever there is a concentration, let us focus on those areas. Then slowly it will spread to other parts of India. Need to assess the past to draw the future strategy. As ma'am also said, that we should deep dive, because 33 years of lessons learned gives us an opportunity to move forward. Like yesterday we were in a function where Kargil was being discussed. Kargil, because we are celebrating now 24th celebrations of Kargil Divas, Vijay Divas. One army officer said that there was a Kargil committee made after the Kargil happened. Then they have made some district-wise groups, how to percolate the intelligence information into at the district level. That has worked very well. That's why we don't have bomb blasts. We have full control over the security situation in India right now. That's the outcome of the Kargil war. So that this doesn't happen next. So similarly, we have to do that actually. We have to refine the future strategy, how we survive and how we get to our next demand. So the demand is, see, this demand also is actually, it's not my demand. Everybody spoke about it. Although I have put a disclaimer also that this is my personal opinion, but still, so many people spoke, they came to only one conclusion. That means we are connected. Actually that gives us a positive note that we are on the same track. Even though we are disconnected throughout the world, but we are on the same track. The most critical demand to prevent extinction of Kashmiri Hindus is safe homeland. Why I am saying safe homeland? I could have mentioned only homeland. These are actually carefully chosen words. It took me almost 7 days to carefully choose those words. When regulations are made, there is a deliberation like this happening for 10 days, 12 days to create a word and then give it to public. Therefore, why this safe homeland? Safe homeland because there are selective killings happening still in Kashmir, and police, there is no protection for a Kashmiri Hindu or a Hindu who has come from outside to Kashmir to settle his bills there. going for job or going for even for a circus show. He's a laborer and he's shot dead. Therefore, safe homeland. We should always demand safe homeland. We may start with safe homeland. It may become a homeland later after a few years or few decades. We need to prepare because this idea, why I am putting it here, because there are August members from the Samaj here. So Panun Kashmir was also discussed. I had once proposed this proposal to Panun Kashmir, Agnishekhar ji also, because see what is homeland? Unless we document anything. Now why I made this presentation? This presentation may be liked by someone, he will give it to me. It becomes a record actually. So we need to, my philosophy is we need to prepare a book. When we prepare a book, we should have a vision. We don't want to live in Khopchas like situation. Nale Asan Gandh, Jagti type, we don't want Jagti type this. If we have a vision, the way we have demonstrated so far, we should have a book where virtual city plan, we have architects, we have lawyers, we have constitutional experts, we have doctors, engineers, who can make this easily. We don't need to spend anything on this. Virtual city resources management to promote this idea. Now the question is how to promote this idea. Any dignitary visiting India from Israel, from Iran, from Iraq, US, they have an email ID. We don't need government support. We need to tell them, sir, we want to see you. We want to tell you a story. Give us 5 minutes. Out of 10 dignitaries, only 2 may give us time. Hand over this book to them and then see the result. It will automatically come. The word will spread across the globe, and that's our plan. Suppose government tells us tomorrow, we give you land of 20 acres. What do you want to do? We should have a plan, boss. If we don't have a plan, we can't do anything. Take it from me. So we need to work on this concept. This is my philosophy. I don't know whether I'm right or wrong, but this came to my mind. I put it in the presentation. Now, I have also tried to do a SWOT analysis, and you will connect many things which speakers said here. Economic sustainability, we have, that's our strength. Superior next generation to take the lead, because we imbibe certain traits in Kashmir because living in fear always, which our children don't have. They have lived in a diverse society. So giving space, just as we heard, giving space to children. This is what I mean for that, by that. Now we know we have weaknesses, political savviness. Gentleman mentioned that we have to connect to the establishment. See, I will tell you one example. One Kashmiri Muslim leader is with Congress, another is with National Conference, another is with PDP. Why? Have we ever asked a question to us? Why? Because they get their things done with the establishment. That's a political savviness they have. So we have to develop that trust factor among ourselves. Whether we do we take a wrong step or right step, we should support. We should not first question. Let us do it. Because I am working in the lab actually. When I tell some junior scientists, do this, sir, nahi hoga, it will not happen. But because he doesn't know, I have 30 years of experience. So whatever I am telling because of my experience. So that trust factor, now the experiment is different because this is philosophical. This is different. When you do an experiment, then you show him. Bring the test tube, bring the plasma, human sample, serum, I'll show you. When he sees it, then he believes it. But here the trust factor is, if we see, trust, Jaggi Vasudevji tells, if you have a prime minister who is elected by people, trust him for 5 years. If he doesn't work, throw him away after 5 years. That's how we have to work. If we make a president for a society, we have to trust him, whether he does wrong things or right things. Because we should not expect that everything right thing will still happen. If wrong thing happens, that's a good sign for us. So trust factor is another thing. One common voice for common cause. I think we reached a conclusion here today itself, listening to all the speakers, that common cause is safe homeland. So that is already achieved. We have to take that out from that weakness portion. See, we have a lot of opportunities. Opportunity, when there is a big list, so each one of us can take one responsibility, have the action items. As ma'am said that there should be some action item. what we see in the corporate. Like that, we have to build this story and then we have to act on this. Community database. So I was talking to one, how I came to this community database, I was talking to one Bora Muslim. They have a secured community database. In that, you have names of children, you have where do they study, what they are doing, when they are getting married, everything is that in that community database. So we are actually connected even if we remain outside of India or within India. So community database, we have so many software engineers. Hyderabad is a hub of software company. We can engage with somebody and create this hub so that we know actually if a person is born today, Bora community knows that this person is born today, this time, his name is this. To that level of accuracy, that database is working. Social connect, branding and visibility. So we will discuss the general things, how we have to do it. That is another part of deliberation. Connect with establishment, like-minded people. See, if we believe in nationalism, we came out of Kashmir because we have carried the flag on our head. We did not support pro-Pakistani elements, we did not support jihadi elements. That we can never do. To the last drop of our blood, we will do that. But like-minded parties, whenever we meet across India, across globe, we should embrace them. Lessons from successful communities. One like Bora, one like Jews, one like any other community, maybe Marwadi, maybe Jain community. We should learn from them how they are running the business, how they are generating the income. Because I heard from one Jain member that they have almost more than thousands of crores in the pocket because they sponsor their candidates, children from their community, and they study in Harvard, MIT and all. So how do they do that? We should learn from them. Set up institutes and community banks. I was imagining if we are 1 lakh community, so I called a friend in Jammu while I was making a presentation. I told him that you tell me, because he is a very noble guy. He has a limited income of around 10,000 rupees a month. I told him how much you can give to that community if I ask you for some funds. I was thinking he will say 100 rupees per month. He told I can give 1,000. So that is, see, if I calculate 100 rupees, this becomes 12 crore rupees in a year. So if we calculate 500, that is 60 crores. Rest, how we can do that, how we'll build the trust in the community, how we utilize that money for more money generation so that we can take care of certain things which are not in our favor right now. Like say for example, some people are not financially so sound and all. Medical care, old age home, community center, bank. Once we set up institutes, they will start churning money. I was also talking to one local guy who is my friend. He has a group of schools here. 2 years is the return on investment on a business of 3 crores. If we invest 3 crores in a school or a college, 2 years is the ROI. So those are the things that we should be talking about and deliberating on and then acting. Deliberation alone will not, and celebrate gratitude. Bala Sahab, Jagmohan. So I was thinking I'm giving only a few examples. Yeah, anybody. I am telling that we should visit them, we should celebrate their birthday, if they are not in this world, so we should go there and celebrate. Express our gratitude to these great souls who came to our rescue in the time of when we are on the roads actually. So that's all. I think this is the last one. Yeah, that's all. Thank you very much. So I tried to keep it very short so that we have some kind of ideology and then we have some ideas so that we can act on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Saab. And your presentation was very crisp. I remember Manorama ji was telling that we should have a narrative and input. Probably that can become a narrative of Rana Saab. As he rightly said that we should document it so that it becomes a narrative. Before we go to next presentation and we'll have lunch break thereafter, we have from Telangana Police Mr. Venkatesh Garu and his team here. So they want to have a photograph with here. So let us welcome them. Venkatesh Garu. They have been since morning with us. We thank
Venkatesh Garu and his team for their services. Thank you very much. So coming to the last session of this first half, as Dr. Saab in the morning was saying that recently they have filed a writ petition against this abrogation of Article 370. It's not the only writ petition they have filed, they have been doing it for years together. Let us give a round of applause to AIKS for doing this wonderful job. For this, they have created a book. I request Dr. Ramesh Raina to be on the stage to unveil this book of writ petitions along with we will request him to give us updates on that. And at the same time, I'll request some senior people from KHST to be on the stage. Saraf Saab, request you to be on the stage. Mr. Ravidhar, Mr. V.K. Cole, Mr. B.L. Zar, Matu Saab, Mr. Rajesh Rana Saab, Mr. Ashok Munshi, Vikram Ji, Mr. Vikram Tablu, Mr. Dar Saab, Gunju Saab, and Pandit Saab. Mukku Saab. I'll request Dr. Saab to give a little brief of it.
I take this opportunity to give you a little background of this civil writ petition of AIKS. This civil writ petition of AIKS was filed in the Honorable Supreme Court of India in 2006. And the first appearance made on behalf of AIKS was made by the then former Finance Minister of India, Mr. Arun Jaitley. And it was only after he appeared in the Supreme Court of India on behalf of AIKS, the writ petition was admitted in Supreme Court. And thereafter, it was going on well. And I remember Justice Kapadia, who was the former Chief Justice of India, had asked Government of India to file the action taken report about the grievances lodged by the Kashmiri migrants, euphemistically called though. And it is believed, and it's my conviction as well, when the then Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, came out with the rehabilitation plan for Kashmiri migrants, it was only because of the intervention of Honorable Supreme Court of India, which wanted to have the action taken report from Government of India regarding Kashmiri Pandit issues. And thereafter this case was taking on well and Supreme Court was hearing it. And unfortunately for us, in 2016, the case was transferred from Supreme Court to J&K High Court. They thought that the issues are mostly local. Though we pleaded that the issues are not local, the issues are mainly on the survival, and there are issues which are of relevance to the country. But then our arguments fell on deaf ears and the case was transferred to the J&K High Court in 2016. And from 2016 till date, there have been various judgments, and those judgments have been documented in the book that we have just released. And this is only to give you a brief of what we are doing. Normally there is a perception that Kashmiri Pandits are not doing anything, our organizations are not doing anything. But let me tell you that there was a team AIKS looking after the Supreme Court of India. When it was transferred from Supreme Court to the Honorable High Court in J&K in 2016, there is a well-oiled legal luminaries who are fighting for the cause of the community, which includes the senior lawyer of J&K High Court, Mr. P.N. Rana, we have Mr. Goja, we have Kashmiri Lal Bhattji, and there is another man, Mr. Virender. So these four people are taking care of all those things, and there have been some certain very good judgments. They are documented there, and I leave this booklet for you so that it can be used for the posterity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Saab, and we assure you that we will shoulder you in this cause, and we'll fight along with you in this scenario. Since we have unveiled one book, so there is one more book called Chamberland of Kashmir, written by Mr. P.K. Badam, Mr. P.K. Badam, and I request the unveiling. I request Mr. Badam to give
this book. I am Colonel Kanwar Dada, now adopted by Telangana state. I have made this as my last destination because of its beauty, people, and definitely a lot of motivation coming from Pandita Saab to settle down here. So my father at the age of 88 started writing this book. He completed this book in 89, and he would pen down lines only when he would visit me from Delhi or Noida for 6 months during winter period. And basking under the sun, he would write few lines. Painstakingly, he has done a lot of research. It is basically for the next generation. It's a compendium on our history. Kashmir history is very well covered in this. Our culture, our traditions, our poets, our shrines and temples. So it is a document which you should pass on to your progeny so that this remains somewhere and they may get time to go through few leaks. And there are few incidents in this, personalities in this, like Kashmiri Hindu. I was in class 2 when I participated in this when I was in Kashmir. And there was a loss of prophets here. So those incidents are well covered in this.
Because
Yeah. So I would take this opportunity, this forum has been given to me. I have 2 important luminaries, President from the All India Kashmiri Samaj and also Dr. Sopori Saab. So it is a great honor for me to present this book to you. You have met my father, so he'll be in heaven definitely very grateful for this time that you will give me. please come on the stage.
I'll request all AIKS dignitaries to be on the stage, and Mr. Badam will present a book to all of you. Let us give a big round of applause. Thank you all of you. Thank you, Raj.
My Father in heaven would be appreciating this moment, and I'm grateful to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Badam Sahab, and thank you all. The irony of this meeting is that lunch is served in the same hall. जो fragrance है, that is creating more of appetite. So I'll not come in between you and this lunch. So you want to say something?
I want to say that I have more copies of this book. It is for the community, it is free forever, it is complimentary. So when you go from here, please collect a copy for yourself.
Thank you very much for this nice gesture to make it free for the community. So with this, we break for lunch. We are little ahead of this delayed schedule. So I request all to have lunch and let us meet again so that we conclude within our stipulated time. Thank you.
था मैं स्टैंड लाता ना मुझे यहाँ ही जाना है मेरे को दिल्ली से एक बंदे ने फोन आया ये प्रोग्राम अगर मुझे पता था मेरे पास स्टैंड तो घर पे पड़े हैं 3 एक स्टैंड ही ट्राइपॉड स्लो चल बैकग्राउंड अब नहीं